and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be, however you may be listening, however you may be viewing for those subscribing on YouTube. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday. Another busy Tuesday, 10th day of March. Chris Burdick producing the broadcast, and it is, again, a busy one. It's Tuesday, so Teresa Goldner will join us at the bottom of the hour. And we've got a whole lot going on with the Iranian war. We'll update you on that. Daniel Petrie will join us at 4 o'clock. Normally joins us on Thursdays at 4:30, but there's been some dramatic financial news that I'll explain in just a second, and we'll talk with great detail with our money man from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. There's been yet another twist in the LA Marathon victory for Nathan Martin. I lied to you yesterday, absolutely lied, or just got it wrong. But again, I attributed it to KTTV, and they have gone back on what they were first reporting. And have you seen our favorite couple lately, Mr. Burdick?
I have not.
There are now 2 eggs. They have a pair of young eaglets waiting to hatch in this current clutch, as we learned from our friend Jenny Voisin from Friends of Big Bear Valley. They're the folks up there in Big Bear that have the camera fixed upon that tree where Jack and Shadow, a pair of bald eagles that apparently will mate for life. Although we did find out we've talked to the folks from Big Bear 3 times, once with a young woman by the name of Sandy, who unfortunately passed away. And now Jenny Voisin has become our best friend up there. And she was telling us how, because remember, my fascination began with this PBS special that I saw on eagles. And one of the things that they noted was that eagles are much like penguins, that they mate for life. And I was asking Jenny Voisin about that. And she said, well, normally, but not in this case. Apparently Shadow kind of elbowed another eagle out of the way. Pimp Daddy got a little riz, got a little eagle, little bald eagle riz, apparently, and booted the other guy out. And I told you last week when there was only one eaglet or egg up there that I was kind of nervous because I didn't see Jackie and Shadow on the nest. And then we had Jenny Voisin on, and she explained, and they were talking about this with another news organization, that she told us this, that there are new eagles in the Big Bear area. And so she was explaining to another news source that one of the reasons that, because they were kind of concerned lately that both the eagles were gone from the nest for like a day and a half, and that's completely unlike them completely. And if you remember, if you've been following along with us with this, and again, I hate to bore you with this, but I'm fascinated by it. The last clutch, the 2 eggs that she hatched, that Jackie hatched, were eaten by ravens when they left the nest. Well, now Jenny Voisin was explaining that she's now kind of hovering the area because of the new eagles that are going around. And so she's basically reconnoitering the area, as they say in the military. But we'll update you on that. And we've got more information on Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott, did you talk about it on your show this morning on ESPN 1230 from 7 to 9?
KGEO 1230, but no.
It's not ESPN anymore?
No.
Really?
We haven't been ESPN for a while.
Well, why haven't you tackled me? Because I've been saying that for weeks. I introduced Greg like that. I didn't know. Why am I always the last to know? Or maybe the last to remember.
Honestly, didn't even catch that.
Yeah. So I introduced Greg. But we were right on. She wouldn't sign the prenup. She wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I knew it. It's always now.
Of course. When you cancel a wedding a month before the wedding,
yeah,
and apparently his pals, because Not all his pals are NFL players. He's got some friends from back in the day, and it was going to cost a pretty penny to go to Italy. And you're told a month before you're getting on a plane that you got to cancel your reservations. Apparently, his friends ain't very happy with him, or her for that matter. And did you know, did we talk about this yesterday? They have 2 babies together.
Dak's got kids?
Yeah, he's got 2 babies with this woman.
They're going to get together.
The oldest was going to be the ring child. He was going to bring the ring up the aisle. And the little baby was going to be the flower girl.
They're going to get together at some point then. They always do.
Well, for the next 18 years, they're stuck together one way or the other. But Dak just signed. What did he sign, Mr. Sports Guy? A gargantuan, although he restructured it. But he's making hundreds of millions of dollars, is he not?
Yeah, oh yeah. So he signed an initial 4-year, $240 million contract. Now he gets 230 of that guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
He did restructure it this year, but really all that means is that they gave him a ton of that money up front, so they don't have to pay it off later.
So it's not on the books.
So I really don't know what the cap is.
And what's your dude's name that used to have the show that Joy Taylor was on, and the guy that supposedly had sex with Joy Taylor that I can't
Emmanuel Acho?
He's like, do you hear what he said?
Dak? No, I did not.
Yeah, about the situation.
No.
Like, Dak ain't right.
Oh, actually, no, yeah, I did.
Dak ain't right. If you're really in love, and this is the woman that you're going to sleep with for the rest of your life, why do you need a prenup?
This dude is wild. I don't really
He's
care
an idiot. I tried to tell you that. Didn't I tell you that? I'm envious of him, and you know why.
Oh, I 100%.
I don't know how
he made it to the NFL.
Coerced. Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. No, he apparently slept with the lovely Joy Taylor, who is the sister of Hall of Famer Jason Taylor.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got a yellow jacket. Jason Taylor played for the Miami Dolphins. Once got into 2 fights with 2 different players who were hitting on her sister. She's really, if you don't remember her from either Colin Cowherd's show or on, what was the name of their show? Well, she was on with Ocho, so they were committing HR violations.
Is that Don't Speak, or which one?
I think it was Don't Speak. Yeah, exactly. It was Don't Speak. But he's like, I don't understand Dak. And boop, boop. I'm like, you've gone crazy.
Yeah, he's had some weird takes.
Yeah, you've got to protect your $200 million. And you can throw the same thing back at her. If she really loves this guy, and you're going to be with him for the rest of your life, what difference does it make? So it's the father of your children. At some point, he's going to have to pay you for at least 18 more years. I don't know. Anyway, on much more important issues, we begin obviously with what's going on. The president and the administration on the 11th day of the Iranian war are backing off what they were claiming yesterday, or at least what the president was claiming, and that was that this target strike, or it wasn't a target strike, it was a missed strike, actually, that hit a school and killed some 165 children, 10 others, teachers. And I warned yesterday that I'm in complete agreement with what we're doing. I'm behind this thing 100,000%, but I am criticizing the manner in which we are exercising this epic fury. The way it was rolled out, the discrepancies between the administration, one hand saying this, the other hand saying that. And you know what? For the very first time, so you should record this, I'm going to say something decent about Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth is one of the few that in the administration has backed off from saying, like the president did yesterday, the Iranian strike, the strike on the Iranian school was done by the Iranians. He's the only one that's saying, well, we're investigating it. Now, to be honest with you, that's disingenuous. Because who among you, after 11 days, doesn't think that they know exactly that we did this? And the proof came out in the weapon. It was a Tomahawk missile that the president then once again lied. I don't know how else to put it, and said something like, well, everybody's got Tomahawk missiles. It could have been anybody. The Iranians, from what I'm told by pundits, I obviously don't know this firsthand. So obviously I heard this on television from a White House person or a military expert. The Iranians do not have Tomahawks. So the list of suspects in who hit this school really kind of shrinks to one, and that's us. And the only worst thing we can do in striking a school like that and hitting children is to try to deny it. It's the constant redundant theme that I'm sure you're sick of hearing. It's never the error you make, it's how you handle it. And again, I think that the president should once again, this is about the third or fourth time I've sought this, go before the country and explain what's going on, because actually, tactically, this thing is going extremely well. One of the reasons we're having Daniel Petrie on today is because when I woke up, stocks were down, gas was up, and all of a sudden, gas dropped back down under $100. This is like $80 a barrel, which is much lower than it was yesterday. And that's really kind of, again, I told you they were headline watching yesterday, where they're listening to the administration now, who are saying that, again, the president saying that it's very complete and that ships are getting through the Strait of Hormuz. And while there are reports that the Iranians are mining Hormuz, the president has said, if you screw around with this, we are going to devastate you. And I think another applause should be given to the administration in instructing the military to stay away from the Iranian energy infrastructure. Now, why do we applaud that? Why is that a good thing? Because we don't want to be on the bad side of the Iranian people. We want to be the good guys. We want to be the guys that are coming in with the white hats, that are getting away from the religious clerics that have kept these people under their thumb since 1979. And the same people that have been harboring and exporting terrorism since I was in high school. And again, I've got the list right here. I've been very reluctant to read it because it's so damn long and so boring. Just to read you the number of incidents since in 46 years that has been waged by this group of terrorists. And remember, there are two Americas, because we just had a vote in the House that mirrored a vote that we took, 4 years ago, where it was absolutely unanimous. Absolutely unanimous. When did you hear that coming out of the House of Representatives, that Iran was the greatest exporter of terrorism? I've got quotes on my phone from Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Hakeem Jeffries. And now, with President Trump in the White House, they take the same vote, and 53 Democrats refuse to say that Iran is the greater exporter of terrorism. The reality is the national media is looking for anything and everything that'll go wrong with this mission. It's going extremely well. If we go in and can straighten out the Strait of Hormuz and really select who gets through there, we are killing China, who gets 55% of their oil from that area. We are killing the Russians on this thing. And think about how quiet they are. Think about how quiet Xi and Putin has been, although the CIA does report that the Russians are providing our battle sites. But at this point, it doesn't matter. We own their airspace. We've all but devastated their Navy. This thing is going extremely well. And if they screw around and sum this thing up in 8 weeks, 12 weeks, man, the midterms are ours. We could get a Republican governor out of it, and we could get Marco Rubio in the White House, who you'll hear from later. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the day. We're extremely late. Teresa Goldner, our judge, joins us in just a matter of minutes. We come back, we'll talk more about what the market is doing. Then at 4 o'clock, a man who really knows what he's talking about, Daniel Petrie, will join us. The SAVE Act is coming up for a vote yet again, and I believe Republicans should alter it just a skosh. Take the win. Voter ID is overwhelmingly popular, but take off the table the passport and the birth certificate. Take that off, and that thing sails through Congress, and we've got our voter ID. Forcing people to show some sort of picture, government-issued identification about who you are when you vote, just like you have to present with an air flight. In fact, they've stepped up the requirements to fly. You've got to get the new real ID. But you know what? I never heard the Democrats complaining about how black folks won't be able to fly and how poor people will be stuck in Tupelo, Mississippi because they can't get a real ID. But when it comes to voting, all of a sudden these people just aren't ambulatory. You know what I'm saying? Quick timeout. Just getting started on a Tuesday. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live, kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
$500,000
Messmaker.
Messmaker?
Yeah.
last year, and it only makes me ask, why the hell haven't we just let this thing burn down to the ground already? And then the internet, as great as it is, the comment says, I hope the person that reports this fire didn't call 911.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Coming up in just a minute, our money man, Daniel Petrie, makes, an uncharacteristically early appearance in the week. He's coming on normally on Thursday at 4:30, as you know. But with all the financial news going on and connected to the war, Daniel's going to make an appearance here in just a matter of minutes. That's how important Daniel Petrie is to this broadcast. Not only, as I always talk about, does he have a financial mind, but he has a political savvy that can dictate what's going on and explain to you how what's going on impacts you and your wallet. And again, you know what Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors are about. They're all about retirement. If it's facing you in the mug, call them today at 395-9400. It's 395-9400. Their office is located right on the corner of 21st and Oak. Daniel Petrie, who's joining us in just a matter of minutes with Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors.
This broadcast is for informational purposes only. Does not constitute a solicitation or offer to buy or sell any security, future, option, or other financial instrument, or to offer or provide any investment advisory or other services to any person in any jurisdiction by Daniel Petrie or MPWAE, DBA, Messmaker, and Petrie Wealth Advisors. Any views expressed in this broadcast by us are prepared based upon the information available to us at the time, and we are under no obligation to update our views.
So my friends over at Pure Talk have been sending me customer feedback from consumeraffairs.com, where thousands of people rate and review the top wireless providers. Here, for instance, is a nice note from James in Raleigh, North Carolina, who writes, quote, after hearing Mike Rowe's ad, we made the switch to Pure Talk, and we couldn't be happier. We went from spending $1,200 a year with T-Mobile to $420 with Pure Talk. Thanks, Mike. Switch today! Exclamation point. Pure Talk is saving James $820 a year. And because he literally wrote the words, switch today, in capital letters, with an exclamation point, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this commercial to him. So, folks, take it from James in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pure Talk can give you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on the same 5G service the big guys are overcharging. Pound 250, say Mike Rowe. You'll also save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 to save an additional 50%. Thanks, James.
And we're back. Rob and Bob again for California Fruit Depot. Bob seems to be laughing. This is so we only have 60 seconds.
Okay.
We need to sell citrus
And nuts.
dates, nuts, dried fruits. We need to tell people where we are as if they can't do it by Google. And if you don't know where we are by now,
You're not listening enough.
you're really not listening.
Get in your car, drive around, and
Here's
listen.
something that you're going to pay attention to. I would like to, and I hate to get political,
Okay.
I would like to merge Kern County with San Luis Obispo
That's
County.
a great idea.
We can do a lot with it.
What took you so
We
long?
got
They
another
can use
Subaru?
our resources. We can use
Today?
their resources.
Oceanfront property for us.
Listen, oil, ag, and beach. Moving on. We need a tag phrase at the
We do.
California Fruit Depot.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The one we've been using is with only citrus.
I think it's too complicated, way too long.
Letters are stacking up high. Enough about this foolishness. Just visit California Fruit Depot. Come on out to Edison and say hi.
I mean, what a pro.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now
And Carolyn Levitt carried the ball for the president today. He didn't have any type of meeting with any dignitary, so he didn't address the press, but she certainly did, asking and answering questions regarding the war. What does unconditional surrender look like, et cetera, et cetera.
President Trump will not allow rogue Iranian terrorists to stop the freedom of navigation and the free flow of energy. Let me be clear. It is a good thing to wipe out terrorists who indiscriminately target civilians and attempt to hold the global economy hostage. And President Trump should be commended for doing so. As the president made unequivocally clear to the remaining elements of this terrorist regime in his statement yesterday, if they do anything to stop the flow of oil or goods within the Strait of Hormuz, they will be hit by the world's most powerful military 20 times harder than they have been hit thus far.
I like it. I like it. I think we should take over control of the Strait of Hormuz. They are reporting that 90% of their ballistic missiles are down, 85% of their drones are down. We've sunk 50 different vessels. I think this thing is going extremely well, much to the chagrin of Democrats. Watch the liberal news tonight. They're beside themselves. They're coming up with every reason. And really, the only thing they can come up with now is the money. The gas prices, which has settled down today, like I said, it's like $80 a barrel. And they're talking about the cost of each day. Here is more from Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt.
Moving forward, the stated objectives for Operation Epic Fury remain the same. Destroy the terrorist regime's ballistic missiles, raise their Iranian missile industry to the ground, ensure their terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the region, and ensure that Iran never obtains a nuclear weapon. President Trump remains confident these goals will be accomplished in swift fashion.
And let's remember, there are an overwhelming majority of retired generals who agree with Epic Fury. And I can start to see what they are doing. What they're going to do is, as I kind of flirted with yesterday, is the Trump administration is going to define unconditional surrender. Because again, we asked the question, what does that look like? Who does the Revolutionary Guard drop their arms to and wave the white flag to? So that's never going to happen. There's not going to be a white flag. There's not going to be a peace signing ceremony like Lee and Grant at Appomattox or Douglas MacArthur aboard the U.S. Missouri in Japan. There's not going to be any of that. But what we can do is blow them off the face of the earth. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that militarily, effectively. And like I said, the administration should be applauded for specifically telling us and Israel to avoid destroying their energy infrastructure. Because again, we don't want to seem like the bad guys. We don't want these people in the darkness. We're asking them to rise up. We're asking them that we're going to put a target on every different Ayatollah that comes down the pike. And then along with taking this great responsibility, the son of the outgoing and dead Ayatollah, there's also going to be a target on your back, son. And if you can't act like a good actor in that area, we will be back. But they can define what is unconditional surrender, destroy their navy, we control the air, and walk away from this thing, having been successful. And this other thing about putting boots on the ground, this has become like this catchphrase. We put boots on the ground all the time. Who do you think killed Osama bin Laden? Do you think we did that by air? No, we did it by helicopter. And brave Navy SEALs climbed down ropes and put their boots on the ground, searched through his compound, and shot his sorry ass. So stop this boots on the ground stuff. It's not going to be Vietnam. We're not sending 500,000 men to Tehran. But we may, along with the Israelis, send small little militia groups to find some of that uranium and destroy their nuclear infrastructure. And then we get out of there, and it's a victory. It is an absolute victory. And then guess what comes into play? What have I been talking about for 6 months? If he pulls this off, all of a sudden, the midterms are in play. Chad Bianco and Steve Hilton for governor are in play. We could actually have 2 Republicans atop of a leaderboard come June, meaning we're assured an absolute Republican governor. I think people are sick of this. The gas prices, the mileage tax that's about to hit us, just the absolute inability for Gavin Newsom to put us in a direction that's positive. They've got to be sick of it by now. I'm telling you, this could be a game changer, absolute game changer. We'll talk about the financial side of this coming up at 4 o'clock with our money man, Daniel Petrie. In the meantime, we pivot. It's a Tuesday. Former federal magistrate Judge Teresa Goldner joins us next.
News
Hey,
Talk
hey, hey.
96.1
Thank you.
and AM 1180
Come on in.
KERN.
with SRN News. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Georgia voters are casting ballots to choose a successor in Congress to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Tuesday's special election comes after the Republican Greene resigned her seat in January after a falling out with President Trump. Top candidates include Republicans Clay Fuller and Colton Moore, and Democrat Sean Harris. Trump has endorsed Fuller as district attorney. Iran's attacks on regional oil infrastructure and pledges to choke off a vital waterway left markets on edge as the United States promised blistering new strikes. The war entered its 11th day on Tuesday with no end in sight as its effects were felt across the region and beyond. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 34 points, the Nasdaq rose a point, the S&P declined 14. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Still no public ID yet on the person who was found dead in the wreckage of a helicopter that crashed Monday afternoon just before 3:30 while laying power lines in a remote area near the Tehachapi Pass wind farm. The National Transportation Safety Board may take up to 6 months to complete the investigation into the crash. 17-year-old Julian Torres is still missing. He was last seen Friday night, and police first put out an alert Sunday. They say both of his hands have injuries. Torres was last seen at Columbia Street north of University and is 5 feet 6 inches tall and 130 pounds with brown eyes and brown hair. Meanwhile, Victor Lopez, who was also missing over the weekend, has been found, say Bakersfield police. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
We've all been there, sleepless nights, wondering if your business's security service is really protecting what matters. At Bay Alarm, we can put your security insecurities to bed. Our advanced technology and personalized support ensure you can rest easy knowing we're here for you. BayAlarm.com.
We all start as tiny seeds, needing care, love, and a little sunlight. Then boom, we sprout, stretch, and grow through the world of childhood and teen years. Before you know it, we're blooming, working, parenting, thriving. And yes, even golden petals can shine bright. Join Kern County Public Health and thrive like a poppy. Visit KernPublicHealth.com to learn more.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox will join us from the Californian, and we will force him to announce the In-N-Out Burger news at the City Lights Project. News, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at KernRadio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like
It's a Tuesday, and for those that are viewing on YouTube, you guys don't know what you're missing if you don't tune into YouTube and actually watch us do the broadcast, because the lovely judge is with us, Teresa Goldner from Klein Dean Italian. Goldner, how are you, Judge?
I'm doing great, Ralph. How are you doing today?
I'm outstanding. I love this weather.
Outstanding.
It's one of my favorite times of the year.
Isn't
Our
it
golf
great?
tournament is less than 2 weeks.
Oh, you must be so excited.
We are. You should come out just to come
You
say
know,
hi,
I
just
have,
to see the
I
veterans.
do have some clubs, but
Yeah.
they're really, really old. I think I told you about them before.
Yeah.
They're my husband got them for me a zillion years ago. They're Nancy Lopez clubs.
Wow. She was once one of the most dominant women players on the tour.
Yes, but that's when I got them. Was when she was a dominant woman
When
player. That
would
tells you
be-
how long ago that
would
was.
be in the 1980s. Yes, it would be. Yes, it would be.
Was that before you were born?
The 1980s? I was in and out of college.
Thinking my golf clubs are older than you.
No, come on.
I know. I know.
So what's going on these days?
You know, I have been following this case that has to do with a young woman who has sued Facebook, TikTok, all the social media platforms, and it's turning into a huge case. It's down
Yeah.
in Los Angeles, and I thought it would be really interesting to talk about it.
Okay.
It's called KGM. Those are her initials. She was a minor when the case was actually filed.
Oh, okay. I know what
KGM
you're
versus
talking about now.
Meta and Google
Mhm.
and all of that.
Yeah.
The trial began in Los Angeles in late January, early February. It's still going on. It's probably going to go on for another maybe week and a half or so. The defense is putting on its case now. Mark Zuckerberg was one of the witnesses testifying. Very interesting case. And she's 20 years old now, and she's alleging that Instagram and YouTube are addictive, that they are intentionally designed to be addictive, and that she got addicted to all of them, and all of these addictions that she had caused her to suffer some severe mental health issues. And what's so interesting to me about this case is it's connected with a whole bunch of other cases. In fact, there are 1,600 plaintiffs waiting in line to have their cases decided, including 350 families and 250 school districts.
Who are
And
claiming that they were the victims of the seduction of Instagram,
and
et cetera, et cetera.
Facebook and all of that. And it's really interesting because these cases have all been consolidated together, and this is considered the test case. And the court calls it's called a bellwether case. And depending on the outcome of this case, either those cases are probably going to fly or they're going to go away.
So this is not considered a class action suit?
No, it's not a class action.
Okay.
No, it's not. They've just been consolidated together. And the issue in the case is whether or not big tech has actually intentionally designed its algorithms and other features to be addictive, especially to target teens and young adults. So pretty interesting.
Isn't this similar to what erupted in the 70s, or maybe even earlier than that, when people started suing tobacco companies?
This is considered, they're following tobacco's format. Actually, there's a lot to it, except the main difference is, tobacco is always going to be bad for you, right? Tobacco is always going to kill you if you keep using it. If you're addicted to it. But social media, that's not necessarily something that. Woman claims that she suffered from anxiety, body dysmorphia, and that's when somebody sees themselves as being disfigured or ugly, even though they're really not. And she claims that she even had suicidal thoughts, and she had a lot of severe mental problems. But TikTok and Snapchat, they were also sued in this case. They settled out before the case actually went to trial. So now she's really just suing YouTube and Instagram, basically.
Now, how in the world can you blame this? Because I think there's a correlation. I don't think there's any question about that. But where does self-responsibility come in? Where does parental control come in? Because that's the issue. These kids get on these phones and they become introverted and they don't want to go outside. They don't want to interact. They just want to see what's going on through life through other people's eyes, which causes depression, because when people post, they're not posting their bad days. They're posting their days in Cabo San Lucas.
Right, they're posting only their best sides.
Yes.
That's right.
And so you get envious and jealous and boo-boo-boo. But how in the world can you put that on Zuckerberg? How in the world can you put that on Instagram and all these devices when it's completely up to you and it's up to your family as a child? It is up to your parents to monitor that kind of activity.
Because they're claiming that the algorithm that big tech develops for these search engine for these products is truly mentally addictive, and that they really don't have a choice. It's beyond there. You have a choice to use it, but once you use it, you get addicted to it.
Well, isn't tobacco addicting?
Tobacco is addicting. Absolutely.
Isn't alcohol addicting?
Yes, it is. That's true. Tobacco got sued, and remember, they had I think it was a $250 billion settlement in the big tobacco cases.
Yeah.
When they were all put together. Here, what's really interesting is I'm sure you've heard of this, Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act.
Yes.
That's the one that says that anybody who's on a platform, like Facebook or Instagram, if you're just putting somebody else's content on your platform, you can't be sued for that. You're not liable for somebody else's content. And so
which goes against all logic of libel and
Well,
because
otherwise you'd have to be checking every single thing that everybody posts. I mean, I can see the logic of why they would have that in the first
well,
place.
that's the way it should be. You shouldn't be able to attribute something unless you know that it's real. You should be able to spread something. You shouldn't be able to spread a lie.
But do you think that Instagram should be responsible if somebody puts something on Instagram that's not true?
No.
That's what Section 230 protects against.
No, I
It
thought you
protects
meant
Instagram.
I thought you meant if I put it forward. I
No.
think I should be held responsible.
You're responsible for your own content.
Right.
But Instagram and YouTube, they're not responsible for someone else's content that they put on their platform.
Yeah, no, they couldn't be.
Yeah, and that's all because of Section 230 of this Communications Decency Act. And that's why there have been a lot of cases in the United States where people have sued and the defendants always win because they always raise this Section 230. But this case is different than all of those other cases.
How so?
They are claiming that this is a negligence-based products liability case where they're claiming that the way that Facebook and Instagram come up, and not Facebook, but YouTube and Instagram come up with their algorithms, that is the way they sort of curate how they bring things to your screen in a way that is going to be addictive to you. And that's more like a product than it is just allowing something to be put on the platform.
And what's wrong with that? One could call that good marketing.
Well, that's what the defense is saying. The defense is saying, hey, wait a minute, what you're really saying here is that because we designed an algorithm that makes people want to come back, makes them want to come back again and again and again, isn't that just like what anybody else does? Like isn't that
what advertising is all about?
Right. And actually, you know who they analogized it to professional sports. Professional sports try to create a situation where you've got loyalty and, brand loyalty, and people come back and watch their teams all the time, or any kind of product. So they're saying you really shouldn't treat this any different than anything else. So it's a really interesting case. The defendants actually already raised Section 230 as a defense, and the judge said, nope, I'm not going to let you use that as a defense.
Really?
Because we're going to try this case based on the legal theory that this is a negligence-based products liability case, which means that the harm doesn't come from third-party content, but rather it comes from the platform's own engineering and design decisions and this informational architecture that they use in coming up with their algorithm. Isn't that interesting?
So they're going to make that illegal? How can they make that illegal?
Well, they're making it illegal. They're saying
that you can punish them for that?
They're saying that if they hit on this case, that they can be held financially liable to the plaintiffs in this case. So that's why this is such an important case.
Yes, because aren't you opening a huge box, a huge Pandora's box?
Absolutely.
That now I'm going to go after the marketers.
That's right.
I'm going to go after you people that got me addicted on Skittles.
They're going to go after.
You present these Skittles commercials and they look mighty chewy and mighty delicious. And there's a beautiful woman eating them on the beaches.
Well,
and you've got me addicted, and I'm going to sue them and get money. It's crazy.
They're going to go after all these big tech platforms that allow for this sort of algorithm seduction to take place. I guess is the best way you could call it.
Do we understand what marketing is about? Marketing is such that they have placements in motion pictures. Nick Saban, Chris can avow to this. Nick Saban never held a press conference without a bottle of Coca-Cola sitting on his dais as he addressed reporters.
Wants people to buy Coke.
I mean, are you kidding me?
That's what this is. That's what they're saying.
This is nuts.
That's why I thought it was an interesting case. Under this product liability theory, in order to, if this really flies, the manufacturer, which would be akin to the tech platforms, they have a duty to exercise reasonable care in designing their product. And that duty extends to harms that are considered to be foreseeable.
So what are they supposed to market? What are they supposed to send to Ralph Bailey? Clips of 21st century movies or old Johnny Carson interviews that I'll sit and watch?
They're supposed to send
it's crazy.
They're supposed to send it in ways that aren't considered neurologically addictive.
I love that. That's what keeps me up till midnight watching. Because they're feeding me what I want to see. I want to see Don Rickles. I want to see Johnny Carson. I want to see clips from Sanford and Son.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? There's no question that their algorithm is targeted. There's no question.
But is it neurologically addictive? And
No,
that's what they're claiming.
That's crazy.
Well, there's
who gets to make this determination? Are they bringing
a
in
jury.
physicians?
It's in front of a jury.
Are they bringing in doctors?
They're bringing in all kinds of experts. In fact, the plaintiffs have put up their experts already. The defense is putting up their experts
Who are
later
their
this week.
experts?
Oh gosh, they've got one particular expert. I got to get her name. She talks about how this absolutely is something that was intentionally designed, and it's very effective, and it's targeted towards young adults and teenagers.
But my question is, what's wrong with that? Why is that bad?
Because this harm, according to the plaintiffs, the harm of being addicted to social media for these kinds of audiences is harmful because it changes their worldview. It changes the way they think about themselves. It leads to anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts. And they say the two main characteristics are that make it bad for young people is that number one, they have kind of a false perception of what a good life is or reality is because, of course, they follow celebrities on it. They compare themselves to celebrities. Their lives aren't as good as the celebrities. So
And you know what that's called?
What's that?
That's called poor parenting.
Yeah, well,
That's what that's called.
That's what I think.
That's what that's called. You're not engaging your child. You're not getting them involved. They're not doing anything but sitting in their bedroom, reading on these phones. They're not involved in ballet. They're not involved in drama. They're not involved in forensics. They're not involved with sports. They're just sitting around on these phones, and these parents love it because it's an old Cosby bit. What do parents want more in the household?
Peace and quiet.
Peace and quiet.
That's nice.
That's an old Cosby book bit from the 60s.
That's right.
And it's true.
I
It's
remember
true.
when my daughter was little, I used to put on Winnie the Pooh videos because she would sit in front of the TV. So I could
Yes.
watch them.
Oh, the television was the greatest babysitter throughout the 60s and the 70s. We would sit there for hours watching Sesame Street. Are you kidding? Our mother would be doing all kinds of things. I was 7 years old, mesmerized in front of the television watching Big Bird.
Well, let me tell
Is
you.
that addicting?
Yeah, well, I think it is
Of
addicting.
course it's addicting.
Well, let me tell you what some of the stats on this are. They claim that these are the experts that have been testifying. They claim that social media platform, the one
Michael Bowers agrees with me, by the way. He said, preach.
it's all
Ralph.
about parents.
Preach. Yes.
That they claim that 77% of teens use social media every single day,
Oh, I think it's higher than that.
and they're more likely to
I think
log
it's higher
on.
than that.
Do you really?
Oh, sure.
Okay. And it says that all these studies that they've done and all these interviews that they've done show that more often teens use, the more often they use Instagram, for example, the worse their overall well-being is, their self-image is, their life satisfaction, their mood, and their body image.
I
kind
get that.
It's consistent.
I get that.
So the first risk is unhealthy comparisons to people whose lives aren't anything like yours. And that makes sense. I mean, everybody wants to follow celebrities on Instagram, right?
Right.
Or your favorite athletes. And then the other one is
Because these parents aren't placing dreams in those children. Have your own dreams.
true.
Go after what you want to do. I mean, I know too many parents. I've got some really good friends that are really good parents, and I see how they go about it because I know the first thing you all are going to say is, well, you don't have any children. What are you talking about? Well, I helped raise my
You have a nephew.
I have 3 nephews that I all helped raise. The one is still in the process because he's just 19. And I'm 10 years older than my late sister, so I helped raise her. And I've watched my friends, how they raise their children. And it's about engagement. It's about talking, about sitting down at dinner and what's going on in school. Tell me what's going on at school. And it's not enough to say, go upstairs and do your homework. It's go upstairs and do your homework. And when you're finished, come back down and let's go over it together.
Did your parents do that with you?
You doggone Skippy, up until a point,
Yeah.
until they could trust me, up until about eighth, 9th grade. Then I was on my own. But yes, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, yes, every single night. I've told the story many times. I got catapulted into private school halfway through my 6th grade year, and beginning of 7th grade, discovered that I didn't know how to divide. Did not know how to divide in 7th
That's not
grade.
good.
And
I thought you went to a really good school, Ralph.
in the middle of 6th grade. I went to, again, I'm just 20 years younger than my dad. So when we were living in Cerritos, Papa's in his residency. He ain't making any money. Harriet's is the breadwinner. And then halfway through 6th grade, now he's done with his residency. I go from Cerritos to the Buckley School in Sherman Oaks, and they discover that this kid from Joey Gonzalez Elementary doesn't know how to divide.
Did you have to take remedial math?
No, I had to stay up with my father. It's one of the classic nights of my life because I'm in 7th grade and I got to stay up till 12:30 at night but I was doing division with my dad. And it took us from about 9 o'clock after dinner, 8:30, to about midnight until I finally got one right. And it's about as happy as I'd ever seen my father in his life.
Did your
And
dad?
he said, now do one more. And he put that thing and I got it right. And I did the addition to check it. And he said, now go to bed. Nicely done.
Nice. And how are you good at math today?
No.
Well,
I'm infamously horrible at math. You never heard me tell the story? I got the lowest math SAT score in my graduating class.
Oh, Ralph,
I got
I'm
a
so
480
sorry.
in the math. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Did that hurt you getting into college?
No, I killed the English. I got a 690 on the English.
Oh, that doesn't surprise
That
me.
saved me,
That doesn't surprise me.
That
Well,
saved me.
what about calculators? Remember when calculators came in? We had our little those
I'm
Texas
an old
Instrument
man. They were
calculators.
just coming in. We were just using calculators when I was in high school.
Did your dad let you use a calculator, or did he make you do
There
it
were
the long
certain
way?
classes where you got to use calculators.
Okay.
But-
Okay. Well,
but-
yeah. I mean, part of the defense in this case is, hey, you can't blame it all on the
No.
social media
No.
platforms.
Not
you
at
know,
all.
you have to take some responsibility for yourself. But, apparently, this truly is supposedly addictive. I mean, in a way that they are compelled to continue to scroll and spend hours and lose track of time, and don't really have a life outside of looking at their cell phones.
I can be honest. I've talked about this openly. I have an insomnia problem. And I think on the weekends, part of it is because I'm staying up till 2, 3 in the morning, scrolling through my phone.
Maybe you're addicted.
I don't think there's any question I am.
Have you ever tried to just put it down and not use it for 3 days?
For 3 days?
Yeah.
No.
What's the longest you've gone without using your cell phone, without using it to scroll and look at social media?
Well, I have to use it for the show.
Okay.
Half the audio I get to Chris is from Instagram, because that's the great thing. My algorithm is a lot of news stuff.
So it comes to you and you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
But-
one of the other dangers.
Well, let me stop you real quick, because I get the sense, am I wrong about this? I get the sense that you may think that they may side with the victims.
I think they might. I think there's a chance. I think there's probably a more than a 50% chance that the plaintiffs might win this case.
And then what?
And then all these big tech companies are going to have to reassess how they do their algorithms and how they come up with these other things that they do on their platforms in a way that is not as addictive. I think it's going to be a game changer if they win. I think it's going to be I think it's going to change the whole legal landscape for big tech if they win this case.
I just think this is a bad way to go about it. I think the way to go about it is the way we're beginning to go about it, and that is that there's a fire that's being started in schools and different school districts, and they are beginning to demand that they turn over their phones at the beginning of school and get them back at the end. And then I think that's got to spread to parents who tell the children that after dinner, after you do your homework, I want the phone. You're not going to be on the phone all night. I think that's the way to go. Maybe even through Congress, maybe through legislation. I don't know.
Well, there's a lot of states already. I think there's 40 states already that have adopted laws to protect children on social media. In some countries, kids under 16 can't use social media at all. They're banned entirely. I think it's in Australia, and I think there's a couple of other
that's what
countries.
began it. Australia began it.
Yep.
And look at the way the Chinese do it. They barely let their children watch that stuff. And they certainly don't watch TikTok, which they produce.
Guess what?
Isn't that interesting?
I
The
think
people
it is.
that export TikTok don't let their own children look at it. And yet that's not like an alarm for us. That's not like hey, wake up.
Have you ever watched TikTok? Have you
No,
ever
I'm not
looked
a
at it?
TikTok guy, no.
I mean, TikTok is just a lot of goofy stuff on it.
Yeah, no,
That's
I'm not
all
a
it is.
TikTok
I mean, it
guy.
makes you laugh, but you waste a lot of time
No.
watching TikTok.
I follow people on Instagram. I use Facebook for the show. You will rarely see me post pictures. Even when I go see my mom and my nephew, I rarely take pictures of my family and put it on Facebook. I think that's private. I'll take pictures if I go to Dodger Stadium, if I go out of town, if I go to Vegas, stuff like that. But I don't really mess with it. I do enjoy the reels.
Okay.
That's the
little
videos.
short reels.
The short videos of old shows. And Instagram is more newsworthy. They have more news stuff and more quotes from the president and Karen Levitt. Like you can ask Chris, half the audio I send him, I
It's from
send
those
from
reels.
Instagram or from Facebook Reels.
Well, let me correct something. I looked up the stats. In 2025 alone, 20 states in the United States enacted new laws governing children's
Good.
social media use.
Good. I think that's the way we attack it, but not by blaming the manufacturer.
And then the other countries that have banned social media for those who are under 16 are the UK, Australia, Denmark, France, and this one was surprising, Brazil. Believe it or not. So this is kind of a wave that's taking place.
Good, because we're
in the
beginning to
country.
realize that there is
That's
a
right.
growing mental health pandemic and that we're losing
this doesn't help
generation.
it.
No, it absolutely may be the cause.
Yep.
But
So the whole thing here is this is an intentionally addictive design. And some of the testimony that has come into the case so far has been they found internal memos at Meta and at Facebook and at Instagram that talks about how they want to have people be addicted. Well, one of them refers to themselves as pushers. One of them says, what was it? There were some pretty bad quotes that they got from some of the internal language that was in here, and it was pretty devastating. And they talk about how they're kind of drugifying the human connection between people by use of the social media and the way that they do it.
doesn't Coca-Cola want you addicted?
Sure.
Doesn't Tito's, the manufacturers of vodka, want you addicted? Doesn't Salem, the producer of cigarettes, want you addicted?
They all want you to be addictive, but they have warnings on it. Do we have warnings on use of social media? Sometimes there are warnings on it, but not
Yes,
really.
there are.
Not really. So here's some of the stuff that's in their documents that looks bad for them. One of them was a document that said, quote, "We're basically pushers. We're causing reward deficit disorder." Another one was, quote, "If we want to win big with teens, we must bring them in as tweens." Next one is the goal, quote, "The goal is not viewership, it's viewer addiction." So they intentionally design it so
But
these
don't
kids
they-
get hooked.
Don't they have in their corner, couldn't they produce a physician who could say, unlike alcohol and cigarettes, there are no withdrawals or there are no side effects from not being around a phone. It's
That's
just
true.
that you're being provided so much access because you've got poor parenting. But there's nothing that says that if a child goes 3 to 5 days without their phone, they're going to get the shakes and all of a sudden
Do you know
not
something?
be able to behave.
When my daughter was, we let our daughter have a phone when she was, I think she was 13. And when she misbehaved, the one or few times that she did,
Yeah.
what I would do is take her phone away.
Doggone
and
Skippy.
She would get the jitters. She really would. She'd go like this.
Wow.
It was amazing. That's when I went, whoa, I didn't realize how powerful this thing is. I mean, it was a great way to discipline somebody, but
Right.
it was pretty powerful. So I think there's stuff there. I think there's something to this, and I would not be surprised if the plaintiffs win. But the issue is going to be causation. One of the plaintiff's attorneys came in front of the jury when he was. It wasn't part of his opening statement, but it was when he was presenting the evidence and doing some direct examination. He put I think it was 4 boxes in front of the jury that had about 10,000 pages of the plaintiff's medical records, and he said to the jury, if you go through every single page of all of these medical records, you won't find anything in here that talks about social media. You won't find anything in here about Instagram or YouTube or any of that. None of the doctors have diagnosed her as being addicted to it.
Well, that's
So
overwhelming.
so-
How can a judge or a jury oversee that?
Well, we'll see what they come back and rebut it with
With
on
the
the
defense?
rebuttal. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a wild case, Ralph. I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what happens on it. I
Will
think
both sides have rested by next Tuesday?
well, let's see, the status of the case is the defense is finishing up its case. It's in the defense phase right now. And as of this morning, the judge told them you only have so many days and so many hours to put on your side of the case. They have 11 hours left.
Okay, so
In the
then we'll be
case.
able to discuss this deeper next
Yeah,
Tuesday.
it'll be really fun. And they're asking for punitive damages.
Well, of course they
all
are.
kinds of stuff.
Of course they are.
So you
8
think,
questions out of 10 can be answered with the word money.
so you want to make a bet on this one?
No, because I think they're going to side with the victims.
You do.
I do.
Well,
I don't know
remember,
where
this
that leaves us, but
this
good
case is
Googly
just-
Moogly.
This is one victim, but there's 1,559 others. And guess why the school district sued?
Quickly.
school districts are saying that this social media addiction is interfering with kids' ability to learn at school.
Oh, that yeah, like they need an excuse. Teresa Goldner, everybody. Yeah, that's right. Put it on Zuckerberg. It's not that we're failing them.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Pete Peters in Washington. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. has sharply cut Iran's ability to launch missiles and drones.
If the enemy can simply wait and then project power, that's problematic. And we've seen some spurts here or there, but ultimately the trend lines, you look at the charts that we look at every day, have gone like this down to a flat. I mean, they won't be able to project. Doesn't mean our air defenders still don't have to defend. They do, but that is strong evidence of degradation.
Former Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Dr. Michael Oren, says the conflict with Iran is likely to last far beyond the war campaign.
We are in maybe just the beginning stages of this. It doesn't mean the war is going to go on indefinitely. It just means there's going to be a very intense beginning of the war, and then we'll keep up the pressure on Iran by having a very tight naval blockade. Not a drop of oil gets out of there.
Oren was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. Dignitaries were on hand for the dignified transfer for a Kentucky soldier who died Sunday from injuries sustained in the Iran war.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth joined the grieving family of a Kentucky man who was the 7th U.S. service member to die in combat during the Iran war, as his remains were brought back to the United States Monday night. Pentagon says 26-year-old Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington of Glendale died after being wounded during a March 1st attack on an airbase in Saudi Arabia. One of Pennington's former teachers, Tom Pitt, says,
"He was basically the quintessential All-American."
I'm Lisa Dwyer.
On Wall Street, a mixed day as the Dow is down by 34 points. The Nasdaq rose 1, with the S&P 500 declining 14. More at townhall.com.
Dennis Prager here for AmFed Coin and Bullion. I've always been a strong believer in precious metals investment, and I've always been fascinated with rare coin collecting. But owning the wrong coins that only make dealers a lot of money can be catastrophic for your investment portfolio. AmFed Coin and Bullion specializes in taking people out of non-performing coin portfolios and turning them into gold, silver, or platinum bullion. They tailor a portfolio based on your goals and not what they want to sell you. You'll never experience scare tactics, misleading hype, or high-pressure sales from owner Nick Grovich and his very knowledgeable staff. They will evaluate your portfolio, show you how your coins have performed, and take the time to educate you on the ugly industry practices so that you can make an informed decision. Smart people can make very bad investments when they're under pressure and lack the facts. Call 800-221-7694. That's 800-221-7694. AmericanFederal.com.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
How the helicopter went down. I'm Chris Davis. Why the chopper crashed Monday afternoon near the Tehachapi Pass wind farm is still an unknown, with the National Transportation Safety Board now looking into it. What is known for sure is that the chopper crashed just before 3:30 at Oak Creek Road and 90th Street West in a remote area where it was laying power lines, and that when first responders arrived, they found the wreckage burning and one person dead. These closures are still happening and could be going on through tomorrow, says Caltrans. They're in the Highway 99 and 58 interchange area. The first is the Ming Avenue on-ramp to the northbound Highway 99, westbound Highway 58 on-ramp from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. The detour is to northbound Weibel Road to California Avenue, then back to 99. Another is an overnight closure at northbound 99 to westbound 58, Connector Bridge. And the third closure is the southbound 99 to Ming Avenue off-ramp. Better access to your city council and a chance to speak your voice is the promise from a new state law that goes into effect July 1st. And the Bakersfield City Council is expected to discuss that tomorrow and how they will respond to that, likely by allowing you to speak at the council meetings remotely. The new law specifies that the city provide a two-way audio and or video method for you to do that. A man who was missing over the weekend who requires a motorized wheelchair to get around has been found, say Bakersfield police. He is Victor Lopez, but 17-year-old Julian Torres is still missing. He has injuries to both his hands and was last seen on Columbia Street Friday evening. Torres is 5 feet 6 inches tall, 130 pounds. He has brown eyes and brown hair. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
What do you think, this is the Army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get a post like this. Bada bing, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Hour 2 of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 10th day of March. Inside of 2 weeks, a week from this coming Monday, 4th annual Honor Flight Open. You got a great opportunity to come out and play some great golf out at Bakersfield Country Club. I've already examined the forecast. It's going to get hot next week, but we get a break. Comes down out of the 90s. It's expected to be in the low 80s when we stick it in the ground up in the Northeast. Hope you'll be a part of it. Help us send our veterans back to Washington. I believe the next Honor Flight 53. Isn't that incredible? 53 different flights, 7 of which I have participated upon. I've talked about, though, I'm backing off just a little bit. I just can't do the flights anymore. You guys know I'm scared to death of flying. And it is just so difficult just running up to my room and trying to get ready for Tuesday. And then Wednesday, we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants. But we've got the golf tournament coming up. We're really excited about that. And, of course, our annual fundraiser will be our 10th year. Or no, our 10th year coming up in the fall. And so we'll hope you participate in that as well. In the meantime, as we talked about, the Dow swung again in the green. And gas prices, which reached as high as $90 a barrel yesterday, and the liberal media, hoping this epic fury will be an absolute failure, was speculating, it'll be about $1.50, $1.60, because at one point yesterday it was as high as 120 a barrel, then fell back down to 90, and today, as I saw it, as low as 77. I'm sure it's gone up a skosh, but for the mystery of this, we had to call in our money man. Joins us every Thursday at 4:30 from S-Maker and Petrie Wealth Advisors, Daniel Petrie. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing well, Ralph. And yourself?
You must be doing well because the transition for Jason Tatum looks very, very positive.
He looks smooth.
As smooth as can be expected. He went 0 for 6 in his first shots the night he came back, but he ended up with damn near a triple-double.
It was respectable. I would argue that's normal rust, but
15, 12, and 7.
He seems
I'd
like
take it.
He will get into the thick of things by the time we get into the playoffs.
Yeah, it's still what's his name's team, Jaylen Brown's team.
Yeah,
but as long as he can throw in 17, 20 a night, they're going to be tough to beat, Jack. They're going to be tough to beat.
I've heard some insiders say that those two are so close that Tatum doesn't even mind it being.
No.
He just wants to win.
Exactly.
Which, if true, what more can you expect from a superstar?
Yeah. For the non-sports fans, we're talking about the Boston Celtics, whose star player, Jason Tatum, ruptured his Achilles and is in the process of making medical history by coming back in just short of 10 months, which is crazy.
I think the trainer darn near lived with him.
I mean, you'd rather tear your ACL than rip your Achilles.
That used to be a career ender.
Yeah, absolutely. And every time I hear Achilles, I still always think of Kobe Bryant. who, when I saw your boy Jason get wheeled off in tears, when I saw other guys being helped off the floor, my boy Mambo not only hit 2 free throws with a damn Achilles, but walked off the court like a bad
fan.
damn Skippy. I don't know what's more impressive, that or when who's on Up in Smoke or Smoke the Joint or whatever the hell.
Matt Barnes?
Matt Barnes. I don't know what's more impressive.
Expertise.
Yeah, there's a podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes called Up in Smoke or Smoke the Joint. I don't know what it is. But I don't know what's more impressive, him walking off with a torn Achilles, or when Matt Barnes faked the ball in his face and he didn't budge. I mean, I don't even know how that's physiologically possible.
Yeah.
You've never seen that video?
I have seen that.
Isn't that crazy?
I remember that happening.
I was watching the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, did they set that up? I really thought that was I thought they were joking. And then I realized, no, they don't really like each other.
Well,
at that time.
What set those people, Jordan, Kobe, I would add Larry Bird into that category just based off his mind.
Yep. Magic.
It's the mental aspect of those people. They're physically gifted.
They all
do
are.
What they do.
They all are.
It's the mental aspect that pushes them to a level
that's what separates
is unheralded.
That's what separates them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to work. So I woke up this morning and gas prices were down. And I'm like, I don't understand this. I got to call my man Daniel Petrie.
Oh, it's been, obviously they follow oil, and it's been crazy.
To say the least.
And you were right. I think it shot up to a high of 120 Sunday night.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
And then kind of slowly faded Monday, and then closed lower in the 80s somewhere.
So obviously this has nothing to do with supply. This is about these guys really, and I may hate to make it sound so simple, but they're reading headlines. They're listening to Trump.
Well, it's about anticipation. Because let's say, okay, the strait's going to be closed for a week and then we'll be returned to normal. They would slough that off.
Right.
But then they go, okay, what's it going to be like? It looks like it's going to be okay. Oh, no, it's closed. Oh, no, not only is it closed, nobody's going through. Oh, my gosh, can they continue to do that? Will Iran make it worse? Will Iran cause supply issues for the neighbors they're bombing in the Middle East? And so then they start to price in, not only will it last a little while, it'll get worse. And then they breathe a sigh of relief. Okay, it's not going to get worse. And Trump says we're almost done.
And the fact that those who they bombed, who they thought would alienate from the United States, has in fact brought them back to us as, I wouldn't go as far as to call them allies, Oman, Jordan, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, but they sure don't like the Iranians more than they like us. They hate them more is what I'm trying to say.
Correct. I agree with that assessment.
Yeah. So we got
oil, I mean, it's not, we're out of the woods. Like overnight, oil's up another $4 to in the high 80s.
Yeah.
Which is tolerable, but volatility will continue. You never quite know what will happen, but I would make a strong argument that Iran is getting weaker by the hour, not stronger.
No question about it. And I think clearly that's what's fueling these things, because again, we've got to remember these are some of the most well-connected men on the planet. And I've got to believe that they have a little knowledge of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Whether they know somebody in the White House, whether they know somebody that they went to high school or college with in the Pentagon, they're getting information that we probably, if they're willing to roll the dice and oil and the Dow is doing well, I think that's a great sign or omen for Operation Epic Fury. What say you?
I agree. I think Epic, no matter what people view as a win there, I don't think we're going to have boots on the ground. Even if Iran in 2 years goes back to being the same Iran they've always been, they won't have the same resources to do the damage they used to do. So,
and I heard a general use the term mow the grass. And he said, you know what? We might have to mow the grass every 3 to 5 years.
It's possible.
Because they're not going to stop. It's not like they're going to just, surrender and say, we're going to stop trying to get a nuclear weapon. We're going to stop trying to be a power in the Middle East. But we can continue to mow the lawn and destroy their infrastructure and keep them from getting a weapon.
Which we will have to do. If they replace their former with the same going forward, in 3, 4, 5 years, we'll probably have to keep them in check.
Yeah, absolutely.
But let's hope that they choose a different path.
And I think there is a remote, but nevertheless a possibility.
I agree
that it could happen. And I think
there's a spark there.
There is, and you know what I think.
Whether it can be fomented or not is another story.
I think that when they went and killed thousands of their own people, that was the ignition.
Yes.
And
didn't help them.
No. And I also talked about at the top of the show the fact that the Pentagon is instructing our people and begging the Israelis to stay away from their energy infrastructure. Yeah. Let's don't put them in the dark. Let's don't antagonize the people themselves. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's continue to wear the white hat. And at some point, they're starting to move this way, but they better concede that we were responsible for the school and the 165 children that died. And just come out, the president just needs to come out and say, you all know that's not us. We did not target that, but this is war. Things happen. We are deeply regretted. It happened. We are willing to be totally transparent, but you know that that's not how we do business.
Right, I agree with you. If we did it, we need to own it.
Yep.
And do what you just said.
Yep.
If it wasn't us, then get it out there and explain that and show the proof. But
the problem is it was a Tomahawk missile, and Iran doesn't have Tomahawk missiles.
Well, there you go then.
So it's pretty open and shut.
I would agree with you.
Yeah. And he kind of backed off of it today. He said on the plane yesterday it was Iran, and that's why I said, everybody hold on, because I'm about to say something nice about Pete Hegseth. Hegseth was standing behind him on the plane, and he said, well, we're investigating it, which really isn't genuine because they know by now. Come on.
I would think.
They know by now. But at least Hegseth didn't lie and say it was the Iranians. And I think ultimately they're going to have to concede.
I agree. And I think Trump at one point did say he would accept the results.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He said that this morning.
Yeah.
He said, we're still investigating it, and if it proves that we were responsible, I'm willing to accept that. That's the smart play. That really is.
So the sooner we can get this behind us, I think the market will be poised and we'll back to normal and start heading north again.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think in the coming days or maybe just weeks, I think after we completely destroy their Navy and get into their infrastructure, I think then the president's going to decide what is unconditional surrender. And I think even Karen Levitt said that.
Right.
And we can get out of there and call it a win.
I have not understood, because at first the Democrats, well, what's the reason? And they'd state all the 5 or 6 different various reasons. And I'm like, well, does it matter? They're all valid.
Exactly.
And then I thought, and what does it matter if Trump feels it's a victory, then it's a victory. And if we don't have boots on the ground and they can't do what they used to be able to do, isn't that a victory? Shouldn't we be rooting for America?
Yes. And all those Gulf states will love us, or I should say tolerate us.
Yeah, hate us less.
Hate us less. Well said. Well said. I'll leave you on that point. Thank you, sir, for coming in on your off day.
Always a pleasure, Ralph. Be well.
You as well. We'll talk to you on Thursday.
Thank you, sir.
All right, man. Daniel Petrie from Messmaker and Petrie Wealth Advisors. He's our Thursday regular. He'll be back with us on Thursday at 4:30. In the meantime, we'll step aside and come back, check the board, see what you all are talking about. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, tweet by Doug Burgum. I have no idea what that means. Oh, I was supposed to ask Daniel Petrie about Doug Burgum. One of the secretaries who said something. I didn't ask him. That's all right. That's okay. That's okay. I normally don't get on the pop culture highway, but did you hear about the shooting at Rihanna's house in Beverly Hills? We've got audio of the shooter who went on and did like this mini podcast. And then we got a package explaining exactly what happened. She was in the home with her kids when this crazy woman from Florida took an AK-47. No, was it AR-15? An AR-15 just started lighting up her house. We'll hear from that as well. And we've got the definitive answer to the end of the LA Marathon. I kind of lied. I kind of was inaccurate, but there's more information. How's that? Quick timeout. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on a Tuesday, right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. And the Crane Radio Studios are powered by Adaptive Networks. For all your IT needs, call Adaptive Networks at 661-241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com.
News Talk 96.1.
Big Mike.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
So I'm not defending this woman. Yes, her attitude probably stinks because, well, she's from Bakersfield. 2, she's got to put up with dumb people calling 911 because, well, she's from Bakersfield. Which leads me to my other question. Who in the hell still calls 911 in this community? Expecting somebody's going to actually show up to your 911 call. Let's just be real.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Do you have an event coming up at your home or a different venue and you're thinking about doing your own or maybe doing a potluck? No. What you need to do is pick up the phone and call my good friend Mike Arier at Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue. As I've talked about, Mike is a Garces kid that made it all the way to the NFL, and he's used that independence, that energy, and that discipline that he used to be in the NFL to run one of the great catering businesses in Kern County. The food is outstanding. He's been working by word of mouth for a decade, and now he's advertising with us, and he's already told us he's got clients just from what we've talked about because the food, again, is outstanding. Mike comes himself personally with his crew, his rig. They do the cooking, they do the cleaning, they do the serving. You do absolutely nothing but pick up the phone and call Mike at 393-5507. That's 393-5507, whether it's a graduation, a wedding, a luncheon, call Mike today, 393-5507. Big Mike's Ragin' Barbecue, and yes, they're still raging hot.
Meet Paul Sheldon's client, Dr. Roland Rodriguez.
Hello, this is Bakersfield General Surgeon, Dr. Roland Rodriguez, client and friend of Mr. Paul Sheldon. It is my great pleasure and privilege to relate to all of you my absolute exemplary experience with Team Paul Sheldon. I have also referred a number of my colleagues to Paul Sheldon's office, only to receive the most stellar feedback from my doctor friends regarding the office's expert navigation through the complex maze that is Medicare. And even though Paul Sheldon himself is now facing some temporary health challenges, his longstanding and most experienced and expertly trained team of ladies, Christine, Kelly, and Lynn, continue to masterfully guide the clients through the complicated world of Medicare. You most definitely could not possibly do any better than to reach out to Paul Sheldon several months before turning 65. Thank you.
When Medicare matters, our team has the answers. Team Paul Sheldon.
398-2298.
Bring your visions to life with smart business buying tools and technology from Amazon Business. From fast, free shipping to in-depth buying insights and automated purchase approvals, we deliver everything you need to achieve your goals. Go to AmazonBusiness.com for support.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show.
Valley Avenue, see how the sun shines brightly in the city.
So remember yesterday when I got called an idiot? because I criticized the president for wearing a baseball cap to the traditional, the dignified return of the bodies, this being the 7th, and some moron called me an idiot. Well, now there's an even bigger discrepancy because there was no question about who was right and who was wrong about that. And I asked the idiot who suggested that, yeah, presidents wear ball caps to returning coffins all the time, which is just frightening. And I asked him, just ask a veteran. Just ask a veteran. If you don't trust me, ask a veteran. Ask somebody who's been in country, or who's been asked to serve in country. And I got like 3 or 4 text messages from veterans who said, you're absolutely right, Ralph. I'm a huge Trump supporter, but he should not have worn a baseball cap. Well, you know what the fury is now? The new funk is, have you heard this, Chris? That Fox ran a old version of Trump at a return of military bodies, and they're calling it an accident, which I find extremely hard to believe. Maybe at KBAK Channel 29 in Market 135 or whatever the hell we are, maybe a producer or a staffer mix up what? It's got to be a 6-year-old tape with yesterday's tape and mixed up what they did. But Fox News? Really? Does anybody believe that? Let me see if I can find this audio of them having to apologize for absolutely. I mean, that is not a casual mistake. That is a gargantuan mistake. And I'm questioning whether it even was a mistake, to be honest with you, because it is a tremendous disrespect to be sitting there with a ball cap, of all things, on top of your head to welcome back. And if you've noticed, Democrats are seizing this and showing other presidents, and it's just ridiculous. I'm trying to look for this. I don't think I can find it. Hang on, let me see if this is it. Hang on, don't go anywhere. No, that's Tucker Carlson. I don't want Tucker Carlson. Damn sure don't want Tucker Carlson. And that's Kristi Noem. Definitely don't want Kristi Noem. I can't find it. But they had to go on the air and literally apologize for what they aired. And I just don't think that was a mistake. I really, really don't. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on the board?
Ralph, I listened to your show on YouTube from Washington State, and we
nice.
only vote by mail. We don't even have a mechanism for in-person voting, or polling places. Oregon and Colorado are also only mail-in.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about mail-in. What I was saying is that they should change the SAVE Act, although you're right, that is a portion of the SAVE Act. I think the portions they should get rid of is the birth certificate and the passport. Hell, I don't have a passport. I used to. I have no idea where my passport is now. But I think the slam dunk, 75% of Democrats, I think it's only like 92% of Republicans, I think it's like 69% of independents. It's a slam dunk issue. Just get through legislation that you have to show a voter ID. And as I said at the top of the show, hell, even to fly now, they've upped the ante, where you just can't have a license. You have to have the real ID. And just for my 60-plussers, absolutely free. Blew me away. I went up to my DMV on F Street. It's absolutely free for us old folks. And I never heard the Democrats screaming, oh, well, black people won't be able to fly. Oh, you're making greater demands. This is oppression, blah, blah, blah. When it comes to voting, all of a sudden, black folks ain't got an ID. All of a sudden, black people can't come up with a license, according to liberal Democrats, who Malcolm X used to always tell us, they're your worst enemy. They're your worst enemy. At least the white man, you know where they're coming from. You know where they're coming from, the South and in Boston and Chicago. This was in the 60s when he said this. But he's right. It's the well-intended liberal who thinks he's helping the poor black man and those poor Mexicans that just can't make it on their own. Just get out of our way. How's that? Just get out of our way. And it's normally the elite black folks that are leading the way with this. It's the Sonny Hostins on The View. It's Kamala Harris running around the country talking about, black people don't have Kinkos in their neighborhoods and they can't copy things. And it's like, what are you talking about? We all have phones, Kamala. You take a picture of your birth certificate, you send it in, blah, 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 blah. Kinkos? Get out of the 20th century, Madam Vice President. Quick time out, more TRBS. Don't go anywhere.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said that Tuesday would be the most intense day yet of U.S. strikes inside Iran. Baseball? The Islamic Republic, its firepower diminished, has vowed to fight on. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the aim of the war is the popular overthrow of Iran's government. President Trump says he won't sign any other legislation into law until Congress passes a strict proof of citizenship voting bill called the SAVE Act that he says also must end Americans' ability to vote by mail. It's a startling demand months before the midterm elections. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 34 points, the Nasdaq rose 1, the S&P 500 declined by 14. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
I'm Chris Davis. A helicopter crash that happened Monday afternoon just before 3:30 near the Tehachapi Pass wind farm near Mojave is now being investigated by the National Transportation Safety Board. One person was found dead in the burning wreckage when first responders got there, and that person's name has not been released. Your access to the Bakersfield City Council meetings is being discussed by that council tomorrow. A new state law says that you must be provided with a two-way audio or video channel to be able to speak to the council, and they have that on the agenda. $5.26 is the average price for gas in California this afternoon, says Gas Buddy. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
If you owe back taxes, listen carefully to rule number 1. Never go up against the IRS alone. They're cracking down, freezing bank accounts, garnishing paychecks, canceling passports. Even your home or business could be at risk. But here's what they don't tell you. The IRS has powerful tax relief programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. That's why smart people call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. Nobody knows these programs like the experts at Optima. Their team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $2 billion in tax debt for people just like you. The IRS is not stopping, so don't wait and don't take them on alone. For tax help you need, for tax help you can trust, call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-780-3599. 800-780-3599. 800-780-3599.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox will join us from the Californian, and we will force him to announce the In-N-Out Burger news at the City Lights Project. News, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1 and streaming live on the internet at kernradio.com.
First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
It's not unusual to see me cry. It's not unusual to go out when I see you out at a bar, it's such a cry. Below. It's not unusual.
Tom Jones. 812-537-6842-KERN. So I'm going to introduce you to Ivana Ortiz. She is the Florida woman who was arrested Sunday on suspicion of attempted murder. She was booked Monday, and her bail was set at $10.2 million. Authorities allege that Ortiz, firing from a Tesla, this woman's got dough, hit the front gate at a nearby RV at the music legend's mansion, the music legend, of course, being Rihanna. Ortiz was arrested soon after in Sherman Oaks, which is one of the more affluent, upper middle class sections of Los Angeles. This is just some rant I found on Reels. This is this woman, Ivana Ortiz.
No, Rihanna, no. You're not the eagle. They will soar high on wings like eagles. Rihanna wants to say that we are flying. That we are flying, and we're not. She's not flying. She had a bad day. She looks really stupid and corny. And everyone knows it. But the way that they want it, that girl, the way that Rihanna wants to kill me, she's the one who wants to kill me. The way that Rihanna wants to kill me shows that we're not going to show this right now. But
Okay,
this is my
all right. I think you get a sense of what we're dealing with here. Before I play the package, let me just give you some facts. At least 10 shots were fired at the residence from a vehicle across the street from the property's gate. The vehicle, a white Tesla, fled south on Coldwater Canyon Drive. Know exactly where that is. Rihanna was home at the time, but was not hurt. Officers in a helicopter soon caught sight of the suspect's vehicle and followed it to a shopping center parking lot in Sherman Oaks, where they arrested her about 30 minutes after the 911 call came in. Sources said the suspect was armed with an AR-15 style weapon. Ortiz, 35, of Orlando, Florida, had several prior arrests. See, and here, listen to this. This is what's wrong with our judicial system. This is what's wrong with how we deal with folks. 35, of Orlando, had several prior arrests in Florida. She was involved in a bankruptcy case in 2013 at the age of 23. Okay, all right, you're young. You had some financial problems. That's one strike. Okay, we can deal with that. Then some 2021, what is that, 8 years later, she's arrested on suspicion of careless driving. Okay, all right, you're still young, but you're starting to become like a career criminal. We got to start paying attention to you, and judges have to start realizing what's beginning to happen. And then finally, when the hammer should have came down on her, she was arrested again in 2023 on suspicion of domestic violence and battery. And that's when the judge should have said, all right, you are beginning to make the shape of a career criminal. You've gone from bankruptcy to driving like a fool to violence. And now the hammer's going to come down, young lady, and you're going to have to do some years in prison. But no, they let this wackadoo out. She's got a great job. I forget what this woman does for a living. But, I mean, she was a licensed speech therapist, pathologist. She was a licensed speech pathologist. In recent weeks, Ortiz's Facebook account had referenced Rihanna. In one post, she said, say something to me directly instead of sneaking around like you're talking about me behind my back. And you heard some of the ranting and raving. Here is another package to give you some more details on the shooting.
LAPD dispatch audio describing the moments shots rang out in this quiet Beverly Glen neighborhood, hitting pop star Rihanna's LA mansion.
Wesley unit, shooting just occurred. 10 gunshots fired from the vehicle.
Investigators say the gunfire came from a car across the street from the singer's mansion. Sources tell ABC News the weapon used appears to be an AR-style rifle. Air 7 later spotted damage on the block, with a bullet hole visible on this roof of a home, and this front gate seen with at least 5 shots through it. After those shots were fired, dispatchers later sent out a description of the suspect and the vehicle.
Suspect number 1 is a driver, female Hispanic, blonde hair, wearing a white shirt. Number 2, passenger. For the description, the passenger was firing a gun. Additional on incident, 1932. Suspect was a 2023 to 2024 Tesla four-door with paper license plate.
Police say that
Brand
Tesla
new.
fled the area, but an
Brand new
LAPD
Tesla.
helicopter picked it up from the air, following it to the San Fernando Valley. About 30 minutes after the initial call, officers stopped the car in a shopping center parking garage in Sherman Oaks and arrested a 30-year-old woman.
Unbelievable. Speech pathologist, good job, good money. And if you see her in the rant, did you see the video? In the rant?
Oh, yeah.
She's an attractive woman. And she looks incredibly normal. And she's articulate. She's just absolutely wackadoo. Absolutely wackadoo. And just more manifestation of this epidemic that we talk about almost every single day on this doggone show. And that is mental health. More than, I think, valley fever. I think it's approaching cancer statistics. It's approaching heart disease, where we just have generations of young children who are wackadoo to the point where they're suing Meta and Instagram and blaming their issues on their phones and their algorithms, et cetera, because we absolutely refuse to deal with this pandemic. Who is her husband? I always mix her husband up with Cardi B's ex. Who's Rihanna's husband? Rocky?
No,
Is it A$AP Rocky? No. Is that
That's
who it
exactly
is?
what it is.
A$AP Rocky? What do you think they're worth? 200-300 million? Easy?
Oh, more than that. She's a big fashion tycoon.
Is she a
now.
billionaire yet?
Oh,
Damn near close.
I don't know if they got to $1 billion, but
Don't you think you have $1 million or $2 million to have one of your boys poised in the backyard with a weapon and a guy at the front gate with a weapon? You know what I'm saying? What? What are you freaking out on?
oh no, I'm sorry. I just looked up how much Rihanna's worth.
What's she worth?
$1.7 billion.
And they don't have a couple of million for security. I would have 24/7 armed security at that place. With that kind of money, what would it hurt? What would it hurt? I would have guys armed. I'd have one of my boys. I'd poke him out of the neighborhood and say, dude, all you got to do is don't do any drugs while you're here. Don't drink. Stay sober. Watch the backyard. My other pal that I grew up, went to high school with, same deal. Just stay front. Stay armed. I want you to have a pistol. I want you to have a long gun because we are a target. It's crazy. An AR-15 just, sprayed at your house? That is nuts. I mean, if she just happens to walk outside, she hears pop, 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 and doesn't really understand what it is, and opens the front door, it's crazy. I just, with that kind of money, you're a billionaire and you don't have like personal security. And we know that there's a new genre of robbery, and that's these criminals that get your schedule and know that Rihanna and Rocky are in Milan watching the Olympics, and so they seize your house. And how these multi-millionaire, damn near billionaires, and some of them are billionaires, don't have that kind of top, first-hand, man on the scene security is mind-boggling to me. You know what I'm saying? For these guys, for that upper echelon of wealth, you need a whole nother level of security. Cameras and all that nonsense ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. You need an armed guards, basically. That's at least what I would do if I had that kind of money. What else you got to spend it on? Good googly moogly. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, we'll check the board, see what you all are talking about once again. Our phone number 842-5376, 842-KERN. And don't forget, the current radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks for all your IT needs. Just as we depend on Adaptive Networks, you should as well. Call them today at 661-241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com. Still more to do. I will add information to the end of the LA Marathon and give you some backstory as to a weird trend, I guess you have to call it, that's going on in marathons. I'll explain coming up in the 5. Jackie and Shadow have another egg. There are now 2 in this current clutch. Talk about that. And Dak Prescott is a lot smarter than I ever gave him credit. April 10th was supposed to be one of the greatest days of his life down in Lake Como, Italy, right around the corner from George Clooney's house. But he called it off. He was supposed to jump the broom, and he said she wouldn't pick up the pen, so I'm not jumping the broom. And like I said, Dak's a whole lot smarter than I ever thought. Quick time out. We're coming right back. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. We're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM
Adaptive.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Nobody's talking about that self-worth and purpose. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody says it. There's more to you than what you're doing. Let's help you get there.
Let's help you get there. Let's just all agree that there's many different roads, but different people dealing with homelessness and living on the streets to get them.
Right, I agree with you.
And as long as we can start there, then I think we can start to make a bigger difference.
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
As I was just telling you, the Kern Radio studios are powered by Adaptive Networks because we depend on our IT and we depend our IT provider to be there when we need them. Because how many times, business owners, have you called your IT company and felt just like just another ticket number? Well, at Adaptive Networks, exceptional customer service isn't just a promise. It's how they do business every day. It's how they relate to us every day. It's how we keep our IT and our radio station on the air. So when we call or when you call, you'll actually talk to a real person who knows your name, understands your business, and genuinely cares about solving your problems. You don't get any phone trees, no run around, no attitude. Because again, as a radio station, we can't get the call, oh, well, we'll be there tomorrow. Not at Adaptive Networks. If you care about your IT, call Adaptive Networks today. 661-241-0638 or hit them online at adaptive-net.com and be with us next Wednesday when owner-operators Jennifer and Ryan Van Alstyne join us live in studio.
We'll admit, we've already thrown in the towel on the New Year's resolution.
Yeah, and we made it through dry January. But one healthy new habit we're sticking with is Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to help protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Yup, more energy and a peace of mind knowing we can enjoy the good things in life while giving our liver the love it needs.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Get ready for the 11th annual Mac and Cheese Fest, happening Saturday, May 9th at the Kern County Fairgrounds from 2 to 6 p.m. This year's event is going to be bigger and better than ever. Enjoy endless servings of mac and cheese, along with refreshing beers, spiked seltzers, cocktails, and live music. Early bird tickets on sale now at BakersfieldMacandCheeseFest.com. But hurry, this special offer is only available for a limited time, and there are a limited number of discounted tickets. For more information and to grab your tickets, visit BakersfieldMacandCheeseFest.com.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
You're listening to The Ralph Bailey Show. Catch me weekday morning 6 to 9 a.m. on First Look with Scott Cox, News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Good time.
Eight foot two five 376 842 KERN. The Doors. You guys want to hear the package I was telling you about? So I play this? Do I have time? I got time. This is Michael Perziali. He does a podcast pointing out what Fox did to cover up the fact that the president was wearing a baseball cap at the traditional welcoming home of the deceased, the traditional.
I want to show people what Fox News does on a daily basis. Take a look at this dignified transfer that they showed on Fox News and see if you notice anything not quite right.
President Trump, First Lady Melania Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Secretary Lady Usha Vance attending a dignified transfer to honor the final homecoming of the 6 U.S. service members killed in Kuwait. The solemn ritual returns the remains of troops killed in action. It is considered one of the most somber duties of a commander-in-chief.
Okay, everything looks normal. President's in line, saluting the fallen soldiers. So what's the big deal? Fox News showed an old dignified transfer because they knew that Trump was going to get blowback from his base for wearing a ball cap during a dignified transfer. This is how uncaring and unserious this guy is. He doesn't give a crap about dead soldiers. But that's not bad enough. There's nobody around him that would tell him that it's inappropriate to wear a cap. Not one.
That's part of the mystery of this thing that I brought up yesterday. That's what I don't understand. It's one thing if he wants to make that decision, but you're telling me that Susie Wiles, Pat Summerall's daughter, or even Carolyn Levitt, somebody didn't suggest to him. Is he that intimidating to this cabinet and to his surrogates and the people around him that they can't say, Mr. President, it's probably a bad idea to wear a ball cap, no matter what it says, USA. And it just goes to show you how crazy radio is, because I actually got criticized yesterday. I got called an idiot for suggesting that it's inappropriate to wear a ball cap to a, what's the phrase that they use? The dignified return, or whatever the phrase is. I mean, it's one thing to wear a ball cap into a nice restaurant, which is, Bakersfield, because it ain't Los Angeles. It just isn't. I don't know if you've been to LA, but you can't go into a place in Beverly Hills or in Brentwood or in Manville Canyon or in some of the nicer areas of Los Angeles with a ball cap on. No, sir. There's some restaurants you can't get in without a jacket. And yet I see guys into some of the nicest restaurants in this town in shorts and Tommy Bahama shirts and ball caps and spitting tobacco juice into empty bottle of beer. And I love this community. The people make it this community, but we still have a section of our population which is living in a different century, and just has no sense of decorum. No sense. I told you I was at a really, really lavish, expensive, really well put together wedding coordinator, everything. I think, I won't name him, my man Robbie, had like 15, what do they call groomsmen? And she had 15 bridesmaids. This is a huge wedding. And there were guys in jeans and flannel shirts. I just see things in this town that I'm just like, huh? And to have somebody call in and try to criticize me for criticizing the president for wearing a baseball cap to welcome back the dead just goes to show you what I'm talking about. It's like, no, I'm the idiot? Really? Okay. All right. What do you got on the board before we get into the 5?
Ralph, I heard an interview last night
Yes.
with Kennedy talking to Stephen A. Smith. He said he would vote for Rubio for president for all the problems he has faced and kept his cool.
I agree with him 100%. And that's another thing about your boy Ocho. I've got some audio of him on here that I think I just erased, where Ocho just tears into him, says that he's a caricature, that it's no longer about the show.
Oh, no, that was his producer. I don't know exactly which video you're talking about.
No, it was Ocho. Ocho looks like. You want me to play it for you?
Ocho, but yes.
Ocho, whatever the heck. You want me to play it for you? I'll play it for you.
I know exactly which video you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure that was his producer talking about it.
No. I'll play it for
His producer went off about it.
Stephen A. Smith, he's the classic example, and it's no fault of his own, of getting famous way too late in life.
That's Ocho.
That's definitely Ocho. This is a different video.
Because now Stephen A. Smith, I feel like, is trying to live out his 20-year-old dreams as a 58-year-old. Whether it's the overly exhaustive pictures getting on the private jet, whether it's the stadium entrances, like, why are we consistently? It's one thing if you got to read somebody they Miranda rights on occasion. Consistently talking about how much money you make and consistently talking about being at the top of your profession. Like, Stephen A. has main character syndrome to the highest degree. Yeah. Now, to Stephen A.'s credit, Stephen A. is at the top of the profession.
Damn right.
First Take is killing every other show, including my former show, at the same time slot.
At least
so
he
I know
admits
just
it.
how talented Stephen A. is firsthand. But there comes a point where it's like, bro, your job is to report on the athletes, report on the news. Your job is not to be the news.
No,
and that's
incorrect.
my thing with Stephen A. is like, he's consistently become the story as opposed to covering the story. And back in the day, he used to just cover the story. And now every day he's become the story. So
Well, let me explain this to Acho. He couldn't be more wrong. Stephen A. used to be a journalist. He used to work for the New York Post. He used to work for, not the New York Post, the Newsweek. No, what is the news something? Newsmax? I don't know. He was a reputable newspaper reporter, and he covered sports. But now he is a television personality. And the way that Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce have a great podcast is not because they're two former football players who are suddenly geniuses. It is about name recognition. It is about who you are. This show is not fueled by the subjects that I picked. This show is fueled by my personality and the manner in which I explain it. Okay? That is the fundamental basis of journalism. Never become the story. Just relate it to them. But in television and in radio, your personality, if I just came in here and talked like this every day, I wouldn't have the listenership that I have. And if I had no personality and I didn't have stories to tell about my own personal life that you all can relate to because we probably grow up very similarly, you probably wouldn't listen to me. But Stephen A. is the show. Acho, whatever the hell your name is, in case you're listening, this guy is being discussed as a presidential candidate. He's a sports commentator who is literally being discussed by some of the smartest political people on the planet as a possible nominee. And I absolutely agree with him about Marco Rubio. I have said that consistently. In fact, I've got some audio again that I'm going to play. I'm trying not to inundate Chris with stuff and just play it off my phone. But I'll play some stuff. Or did I say I did send you the Rubio stuff, didn't I? We've got some Rubio audio from 2015, which shows how far in advance this guy's thinking. Because you'll hear this from Rubio and think that he said it today. But for this guy, who is a B-level talk show host who's been fired now twice, his biggest claim to fame is having sex with Joy Taylor, which I'm incredibly envious of. Don't get me wrong. But this guy has absolutely no idea what he's talking about. He doesn't really even understand television because it is about the personality. You really think that inside the NBA is what it is because Shaq and Kenny and Chuck are so incredibly smart and give us different insights about basketball that we've never seen before? No. It's because Chuck is hilarious, Shaq is crazy, Kenny, when he runs to the board, is funny, and Ernie is the ringleader that keeps all these nitwits together. It's hilarious. So much so that when you're watching March Madness, you're going to see Samuel L. Jackson, Spike Lee, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Chuck selling credit cards. Why? Because of the content? No, because of who they are, because of their personalities. That's what makes Inside the NBA, and what makes that horrible morning show that I can't stand, because what you'll find out, surprisingly, is I'm not even a Stephen A. Smith fan. But you got to recognize success. Give me a break. We'll successfully head into the final hour. Don't go anywhere.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Tensions are high at sea near Iran.
Iran has effectively stopped tankers from using the Strait of Hormuz, which carries 20% of the world's oil. On social media, President Trump said the U.S. had completely destroyed 10 inactive Iranian mine-laying vessels, and there would be more to follow. A video clip was posted by Energy Secretary Chris Wright, claiming the Navy helped an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. This is White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt.
And I can confirm that the U.S. Navy has not escorted a tanker or a vessel at this time.
The prospect of military escorts could help reduce oil and gas price pressures created by the war. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Young kids miss the pandemic's school disruptions, but their reading scores are still lagging.
When COVID wrought havoc in early 2020, today's youngest school children were infants or not yet born. Now, in their early school years, researchers are beginning to see how the pandemic years have shaped their education. First and second graders continue to perform worse than their pre-pandemic counterparts on math and reading tests. That's according to a report published Tuesday by the Education Assessment and Research Group, NWEA. But while math scores have inched up every year, reading scores remain stagnant. I'm Julie Walker.
President Trump says he won't sign any other legislation into law until Congress passes a strict citizenship voting bill called the SAVE Act that he says also must end Americans' ability to vote by mail. It's a startling demand months before the midterm elections. A mixed day on Wall Street with the Dow down by 34 points. The Nasdaq rose 1, the S&P declined 14. Oil trading in the mid-880s. More at townhall.com.
Whether it's because of discomfort, lack of mobility, lifestyle, or occupation, you sit inactively for way too many hours a day. It's terrible for your health. It's time to add some extra steps to your day. Introducing Ellipse One, the premium quality automatic seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases your mobility, and boosts circulation without physical impact. It's the easiest exercise you will ever do. Perfect for home therapy. Whisper quiet to use while you work. Just plug it in, place your feet, select your speed, and relax. Ellipse does all the work for you. Call now and order Ellipse One, the seated exerciser that strengthens legs, increases mobility, and boosts circulation. Call 1-800-754-4130. That's 1-800-754-4130. Or visit us at ellipse-one.com. Now eligible for FSA HSA. Order today.
From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
How the helicopter went down. I'm Chris Davis. Why the chopper crashed Monday afternoon near the Tehachapi Pass wind farm is still an unknown, with the National Transportation Safety Board now looking into it. What is known for sure is that the chopper crashed just before 3:30 at Oak Creek Road and 90th Street West in a remote area where it was laying power lines, and that when first responders arrived, they found the wreckage burning and one person dead. These closures are still happening and could be going on through tomorrow, says Caltrans. They're in the Highway 99 and 58 interchange area. The first is the Ming Avenue on-ramp to the northbound Highway 99, westbound Highway 58 on-ramp from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. The detour is to northbound Weibel Road to California Avenue, then back to 99. Another is an overnight closure at northbound 99 to westbound 58 connector bridge. And the third closure is the southbound 99
What,
to
he
Main
failed the
Avenue
physical?
off-ramp. Better access to your city
back
council
out
and
the
a chance
train?
to speak your voice is the promise from a new state law that goes into effect July 1st. And the Bakersfield City Council is expected to discuss that tomorrow and how they will respond to that, likely by allowing you to speak at the council meetings remotely. The new law specifies that the city provide a two-way audio and or video method for you to do that. A man who was missing over the weekend who requires a motorized wheelchair to get around has been found, say Bakersfield police. He is Victor Lopez, but 17-year-old Julian Torres is still missing. He has injuries to both his hands and was last seen on Columbia Street Friday evening. Torres is 5 feet 6 inches tall, 130 pounds. He has brown eyes and brown hair. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180. KERN.
This is the Army where you shoot them a mile away.
You got it?
You got to get up close like this. But up there,
You
you
got it
throw
up
their
there?
brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
Look up the Crosby thing.
It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Now make sure you leave the house when you make the call. You understand me? You hear me? Call from an outside line. I mean it.
Call in or text to 661-842-KERN. That's 661-842-5376. Listen live at KERNradio.com. Now, the host you've been waiting all day for. Live from the KERN studio, here's Ralph Bailey.
Final hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday, 10th day of March. It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, where we're streaming live at kernradio.com, where we're inside of 2 weeks, in a week from this Monday. All hands on deck for our American General Meeting team. It is the 4th annual Honor Flight Open. If you have not gotten on a team, it just might be too late. I would strongly urge you to head to honorflightopen.com and sign up. And again, this is a wonderful way to help us raise money to send our veterans back to Washington, D.C. as part of the upcoming 53rd Honor Flight coming up in the spring. I believe it's in April, which, as I talked about yesterday, is an absolutely gorgeous time on the East Coast. The cherry blossoms are blooming all over the district, and it's normally in the upper 60s, maybe even low to mid 70s, and it's just gorgeous running around the district on that second day that we get into DC. Then on the third day, we're in Baltimore at Fort McHenry learning about the origins of the Star-Spangled Banner. It is a life-altering trip for these men and women, and you can be a part of sending them by simply playing 18 holes of golf and having a wonderful, wonderful time. It's always a ball. Jeff Salters from Salty's Barbecue is providing lunch, and our good friend Cassie Biddle from KC Steakhouse will be enjoying cocktails and tacos to end the afternoon. We've got auction prizes to give away. It's just a really, really fun tournament. And I know the course, I'll be out there this weekend. I'll give you an idea of what the course looks like. But they punched the greens about 2 weeks ago, so they should be absolutely perfect when we get going on the 23rd, March the 23rd, that Monday. Meantime, there is gargantuan breaking news in the world of sports. Chris, what do you got?
So apparently, and this is from Adam Schefter, the Ravens have backed out of the Max Crosby trade. The trade is off. Max will be returning to the Vegas Raiders, at least for now.
For now. I don't think he's staying. I think Dallas is going to step up big time right now.
I don't know. They weren't willing to pay the full price for him.
They wanted to give us a first and a second.
Right. But it would be a second rounder for like next year or the year after. It wouldn't be this season.
Right.
So, and they want at least 2 first rounders for this guy.
Well, we didn't get 2 first rounders from, we did get 2 first rounders from this year and last year from Baltimore. You're right. Dallas won't pony up another first.
Now, Chicago, potentially.
Okay. I could see that.
Detroit, even maybe get him back in Michigan. But again, I think there's a good possibility here. The Raiders just say, you know what? We're not going to do it. We're going to keep you, and we're going to see how this season works out.
I don't think so. I think we got too many holes to fill.
True.
I think we got too many holes to fill. We need cornerbacks. We need D-backs. And where look up, let me do it. Hey Siri, where do the Dallas Cowboys draft in the first round in 2026?
The Dallas Cowboys draft.
They're the 12th pick. So that's even better than the offer we were getting from the Ravens, because wasn't the Ravens the 14th pick? So we're getting a better player if we deal with Dallas. I don't know. Doesn't Dallas
the
have
12th and the 20th as well?
Oh, but they're not giving them both up. Well, maybe they give both up and that's it. Because weren't we getting another third player from Baltimore?
No, as far as
just
I know,
the first
it
and
was
the
just
second.
the
That's all we
first-round
got.
picks, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry's not going to give us 2 first-round picks this year. Although we can ask. We can ask.
If he really wants them, he'll
That's
do
right.
it.
That's right. And Jerry might be stupid enough to do it. What did they give up for Micah? What did they get for Micah?
Got 2 first-rounders from Mike, if I'm not mistaken.
In the same year? That's what I'm saying. And I would argue that Max is a better pass rusher than Micah.
Oh, yeah. So they got Kenny Clark, a first-round draft pick this year, which is the 20th pick, and a first-rounder next year as well.
I'd be okay with that. A first-rounder this year and a first-rounder next year?
That's essentially what you're getting from Baltimore.
Exactly. I would be okay with that. I really would. This is going to be interesting. And, of course, I wouldn't be brokenhearted if he stayed. Although, what kind of heart does he have for the Raiders? You know what I'm saying? Does he come back kicking and screaming?
No.
Does he come back like, damn, I really don't want to be here, but this is how it worked out, and I'm a professional, so I'm going to do what I have to do?
No, see, like from watching that podcast he did on Saturday, whatever day he was traded, and he did that entire thing where it was like 13 minutes long, you could tell he didn't want to actually leave.
Yeah.
Like there was that emotional tie where he actually wants to be with the Raiders. He even said, like, I would like to come back at the end of my career and end here if I can.
I saw some of that. Was Edelman on that?
No, this is a different that's a different podcast. This was just him straight up in his like little podcast room. It was right after the release. That's the other reason why I'm like, I don't know if they do it again, because he already went through the goodbyes to Vegas and all that type of stuff. Why put him through that a second time? But then again, maybe you just tell him, don't even come back. We got another deal for you.
Business. It's not like he's running back to the facility right now. You know what I'm saying? He's at home just waiting to hear what's going to happen. He's not going to go back to the facility.
And for Baltimore to lose out on this trade and lose their starting center yesterday to Vegas, wow.
He must have failed. The only thing I can figure is he failed the physical.
It says that Baltimore backed out. That's
what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So he failed the physical. Their doctors looked at his knee and they were like, he's got a year or 2 left with that knee at best.
Yeah, that was a big concern coming into this. Was he going to be healthy enough to actually pull off a trade?
Yeah, I bet he failed the physical. Or they just saw something that they thought, for what we're giving up, we want this guy for 3 or 4 years. They have a 2 or 3 year window. Although did they get rid of Lively?
Isaiah, yeah.
What?
Yeah, likely is in now he's a Giant. He's rejoined Harbaugh.
Why?
That I couldn't tell you. They have Mark Andrews still, so maybe they believe in him. But
God, I wish we had a receiver that was in the zip code of that guy. The zip code. I mean, a receiver. I know we've got one of the best tight ends in football.
Honestly, if you put the 2 of them next to each other at tight end, though, it would be nice.
Who?
Lively and
that's what I'm saying.
And Bowser.
That's what I'm saying. We need a solid number 1. And
that's why I'm surprised you guys didn't make a push for Mike Evans.
How he got by, I don't know.
I'm sure they called, but still, like Tom Brady, I thought for sure was going to be able to pull him in.
They might have taken a pass. He's not like he's young.
True, and he wants to win a ring probably one more time before he retires.
Yeah, and he knows
we're the Niners, though. I mean,
we're 2 or 3 years away at best. Like I said, if we go 9-8, I'm a happy black and silver fan.
That's true.
Absolutely happy. Absolutely. 842-5376, 842-KERN. What do you got on the board?
Let's see. Instead of suing the social media company for making the app, can't you sue the internet provider for giving you access? You can block these apps through your router and parental controls.
Well, I think the last 2 words sums up the whole damn thing: parental control. How you allow your child to fall down the rabbit hole of depression and exclusion and just hibernating in their room, that's on you. If you can't engage your daughter or your son just to come out and talk with mom and dad, play Scrabble, watch television together, for God's sakes, get them involved in good television. Turn on the History Channel and say, this week we're going to learn about World War II. And then when we have dinner, I'm going to question you about it. That's one of the things that my parents used to do when we, every house breaks down, I think. And ours broke down when I started playing sports. And then my other sister started to get older and she was doing extracurricular activities and people's schedules are crazy. I was coming home at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night when dinner was at 6. So my dad would have to come home and then go back to the hospital and do rounds. And so everybody's scheduled. But up until about 8th grade, we would sit down and have dinner together. I know that sounds crazy. And my dad would ask us questions about what's going on in your school. And that's called parenting. No phones at the dinner table. 842-5376, 842-KERN. Who you got?
Mr. Banks is on the line.
Mr. Banks?
Yes, Baines.
Baines
Bank.
Oh, Mr. Banks, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks, Ralph. I've got where Ralph is right, where Ralph is wrong.
All right, very good. Let's go. Let's start with the wrong.
Well, let's go the other way.
All right, very good.
Where you're right is we're extremely too lax, procedurally, whatever, Emily, manners-wise in Bakersfield with our wearing ball caps and other things.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to play LA Country Club 30 to 50 times. My roommate in college has been a member there his entire life. I played in the North-South there 4 times. You can wear shorts at LA Country Club as long as they go down to your ankles.
And you can't go in the dining room without a jacket because my high school graduation party was at LA Country Club and I left my jacket in my car and they literally told me, well, you better go back to your car. And I had to go back and put my jacket on to get in the dining room.
Yeah, and if you wear your hat in there, your sponsor hopefully will tell you to take it off.
Yes.
Before a member of the staff knocks it off your head.
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100% right.
Where I think you're wrong is that President Trump wearing his hat at the services that's a problem of the advance team. I mean, if you go to a funeral at anywhere in Bakersfield, they've got a canopy set up where family honored guests don't have to sit under the sun. And for the President of the United States, I think it's more important that he honored that family and that he was there than it is for somebody to worry about whether he was wearing a ball cap.
Yeah.
What hat does the president wear? I mean,
he should not wear a hat. And I said that yesterday. I said it's not that big a deal. And I said Democrats are going to make a big deal out of it. But then I made a big deal out of it after somebody called the show and called me an idiot for suggesting that you can't wear a ball cap. And all I was saying was, well, sir, the tradition, the decorum for the leader of the free world, for the commander-in-chief, is not to wear a ball cap at that ceremony. That's just my understanding.
Had he had a staffer or someone holding an umbrella over his head or something else, they'd complain about that.
You're right.
These people are looking for every reason to not give the man the credit he's due.
You're absolutely right.
For leading our country in a positive direction.
I'll even take it even further. I think they're rooting against Operation Epic Fury. I absolutely believe that they're rooting against it, that they want it to fail. I absolutely believe that.
Yep. They don't care about America.
No.
They care about being reelected. They don't care about peace. They care about themselves and more graft and more, more keeping themselves on the dole
Yep.
than they really care about you and I.
Public service. You're right. Public service is dead. They know they can go to Washington and become millionaires. That's all. And you're right. It's all about just staying in office and amassing the fortune that they get. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Before I let you go, how are the boys?
I got to tell you real quick, I'll tell you that, but back in the day, Henry Kissinger spoke at the Bakersfield Business Conference. They asked him, what's the difference between politicians today and the politicians that you used to work for? And Kissinger's response was, when I worked for them, they wanted solutions to worldly problems. Today, they want to know what they can say to continue to be reelected.
Exactly. And how much money I can raise so I can get reelected. Absolutely. That's the bottom line.
The boys are doing great. Fletch is playing professional soccer in Toronto.
Nice.
Their MLS team. Palmer was able to get into a master's program at Stanford and still has another year of eligibility. He's staying there. He'll have a master's in sustainability. He was the first pick by the LA Galaxy, 35th pick overall. He'll go play professional soccer when he's done. He's been very blessed, Ralph, and appreciate you and your show and all the support you've given us.
Well, that's outstanding. And then you know what they should do? They should play soccer for about 3 or 5 years. And then you know what they should do?
Tell me.
Go get in the NFL and kick field goals and make millions of dollars. Telling you.
Palmer, maybe. I don't. Fletch doesn't have that strong a leg.
No, okay. All right. Very good. Very good. We got to stick it in the ground sometime.
I'd love to. Come join me.
I would love to.
I'll leave my number with JR. I'd love to have you out at Stockdale if you're willing to play that.
I couldn't play the last time you invited me, but yeah, leave your number with Chris. I'd love to get out there with you.
Thanks, brother. I've been listening to you on my drive back from Monterey today.
Oh, is that right? Nice.
I've had 3 hours with you, and I'm about to take the Stockdale exit.
How gorgeous was it in Monterey?
Pretty darn nice.
Yeah, I bet.
Why am I coming home?
Yeah, I bet. All right, hang on. Talk to Chris. Don't go anywhere. All right, hang on. All right, that's Mr. Banks. His sons, who were Garza's kids, and his son Palmer was the field goal kicker, and he's up there playing with my classmate. Still, he said one of the sons still has a year of eligibility, and he's playing with my classmate at CSUB, and the guy who I believe just got inducted into the Hall of Fame at CSUB, Jeremy Gunn, who again graduated in '94, the year I was there, and was I'm forgetting the longtime soccer coach. Who was the longtime soccer coach at CSUB before Jeremy? I can't remember his name, but
honestly could not remember.
He was his protege, and then Jeremy went to Stanford, was the assistant. Now he's been the longtime coach there, and he's coached both the Banks brothers. And it's just a great story. 3 local Bakersfield guys killing it up in Stanford. And I'm telling you, Palmer, because didn't we see Palmer hit a 50-something yard field goal once?
Oh, it was pretty dang close, if not a 50.
Yeah. And, he
always had like a good leg.
He did. So. He was a pretty good field goal kicker. That's what I'm saying. Do the soccer thing, because you can make a good living in soccer now. It's in soccer now that Magic Johnson's gotten involved, and they've expanded Exposition Park by the Coliseum, and pro soccer is on television all the time. You make a good living, but not like an NFL living, Jack. Not like an NFL living. And of all the positions that you would want to play, I don't know about you, Chris, but that's the position I'd want to play if I had some skills. Field goal kicker.
Punter.
No, punter, you got to make tackles. Punter, every now and
again. No
one
one expects you to make a tackle.
Every now and again, and then when you don't, it's a touchdown, and you look like an idiot.
Oh, that's fair, but don't get me wrong.
Field goal kicker does nothing.
You're one of 10 people who looks like, or 11 people who look like idiots. So.
Yeah, but you're the only one that gets isolated. He's got one man to beat. And of course, he beats the punter. You know what I'm saying? And you look like a moron as this guy that can run a 4.3 runs right by you with your 5.0 40. But field goal kickers, although a lot of pressure. You're right, no pressure on the punter. All you do is get it off.
Exactly.
But Field goal
backup
kicker.
quarterback, you don't have to see the field.
I know you could cost the team the season. Can you imagine missing a field goal that costs your team getting in the playoffs?
Oh, and if you miss,
and you got to go in the locker room and face all those guys who are counting that money. And I was going to put another addition on my house.
You missed 2 or 3 field goals too, and you're out of the league.
God. Quick timeout. Not a lot of time before we get to the bottom of the hour as we head into the final half hour of the broadcast on this Tuesday. Tomorrow's a Wednesday. Our former federal magistrate, no, that's today. Our former federal agent, Howard Marcus, will join us. Everybody say a prayer. We get a good report card on Howard's health tomorrow. And there's goings on at the city council. We'll talk about that and a whole lot more. In the meantime, keep it locked. It's TRBS on a Tuesday. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180.
You want to do KC or no?
Lord, like the motherland, it's time to dust off those clubs.
At CentralCoastGolfCart.com, 11 premier California golf experiences are just $125. Enjoy fresh greens, ocean breezes, and the best golf landscapes in the city.
I'm getting a whole bunch of texts here that say Simon Tobin.
Simon Tobin, yeah.
And save more. Visit CentralCoastGolfCart.com today and start swinging into spring.
CentralCoastGolfCart.com. More golf, less green.
You know, oddly, one of the things that I rarely talk about when I talk about KC Steakhouse is lunch. If you work downtown, if you work for the county or wherever on Truxton, it's not very far and it's real quick and it's very convenient. And the menu is similar, just smaller portions, and it is outstanding. And the variety on the menu that Chef Daniel has put together now is simply unbelievable. It's mostly a large groups that come to Casey Steakhouse. And not everybody's feeling red meat to celebrate someone's birthday or an anniversary or whatever the event may be. And that's why Chef Daniel has advanced the menu. So there is Italian food. I love the fettuccine Alfredo with chicken. The lobster mac and cheese is everybody's favorite. The fish dishes, the mahi-mahi, the swordfish, the halibut. Where would you rather be than on F Street? And don't forget about the Stockyard next door for meetings, banquets, or just having dinner and having some of the craft cocktails that are served next door. It's Casey's Steakhouse, longtime sponsors of the Ralph Bailey Show.
Are you looking for a one-of-a-kind way to honor your team or commemorate a special event? Look no further than Martinez Challenge Coins and More, the premier challenge coins and specialty metals company in Bakersfield. With years of experience and a commitment to quality, Martinez creates custom challenge coins that are truly exceptional. Whether you need coins for your military unit, law enforcement agency, or corporate team, they have you covered. Their expert team will work closely with you to design a coin that reflects your unique vision. From intricate artwork to personalized details, Martinez ensures that every coin is a true work of art.
Hi, I'm Ray Martinez, owner and founder of the company. So don't settle for ordinary when you can have extraordinary.
Contact Martinez Challenge Coins and More today and let them bring your vision to life. Visit their website at martinez-martinezllc.com or call 661-304-9589. Martinez Challenge Coins and More, where excellence meets craftsmanship.
Are you looking for a hospital that truly cares for your health and well-being? At Good Samaritan Hospital, they provide high-quality medical detox, psychiatric services, and medical and surgical care. They accept most insurances, including Medi-Cal, Medicare, and Kern Family. They offer Kern County's longest-standing inpatient detox program with dual diagnosis that combines medical care and withdrawal management all under one roof. Learn more at GoodSamaritanHospital.com or call 661-215-7500. Good Samaritan Hospital. They care for their community.
I'm JR Flores. Catch my show, The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m. Now, back to the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Pretty woman, won't you pardon me?
Great movie. I want to thank everybody that texted in. Simon Tobin was the longtime coach who was Jeremy's mentor. He was his coach while Jeremy was matriculating at CSUB at the very same time that I was. And then I think he stayed on and was part of the graduate program and learned a lot from Simon. Simon was a great coach. And it's obviously he has become Jeremy Gunn part of the Simon Tobin tree, as they say in the coaching profession, because he's killing it at Stanford. And the Banks boys play a big role in that. Let me give you a quick warning as we go to the bottom of the hour. It's Robert Duvall night on Turner Classic Movies. You might be too late to catch Tender Mercies. I think it started at 5, but it's followed by The Great Santini. This is one of the great Robert Duvall pictures. It's set in my daddy's hometown of Beaufort, South Carolina. I strongly suggest you watch it. And then a movie that really isn't a Robert Duvall movie, but he plays a significant role. Coming up, I think, at 9, Apocalypse Now, with Marlon Brando and Martin Sheen and Robert Duvall. Last half hour of the broadcast. I'd stick around if I you.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
With us for the news,
Is that what it was? I told you.
Keith Peters
Shit.
in Washington. Republican
Well, good.
Clay
Now he's
Fuller and
got us there.
Democrat
No,
Sean
he's
Harris are advancing to an April 7th runoff from Marjorie Taylor Greene's former U.S. House seat in Georgia. President Trump in February endorsed Fuller, who has called Trump's endorsement rocket fuel for his candidacy. A cattle farmer and retired Brigadier General Harris was the Democratic nominee in 2024, losing handily to Green. Defense Secretary Pete Higgs has said that Tuesday would be the most intense day yet of U.S. strikes inside Iran. The Islamic Republic, its firepower diminished, has vowed to fight on. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the aim of the war is the popular overthrow of Iran's government. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 34 points. More details at srnnews.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. From the KERN Newsroom, your live and local news update on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Still no public ID yet on the person who was found dead in the wreckage of a helicopter that crashed Monday afternoon just before 3:30 while laying power lines in a remote area near the Tehachapi Pass wind farm. The National Transportation Safety Board may take up to 6 months to complete the investigation into the crash. 17-year-old Julian Torres is still missing. He was last seen Friday night, and police first put out an alert Sunday. They say both of his hands have injuries. Torres was last seen at Columbia Street north of University and is 5 feet 6 inches tall and 130 pounds with brown eyes and brown hair. Meanwhile, Victor Lopez, who was also missing over the weekend, has been found, say Bakersfield police. I'm Chris Davis in the KERN newsroom with news every half hour and when it breaks on FM 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN.
Parents and caregivers naturally want to keep their children safe and healthy, and it's common to have questions about how best to do that. Vaccines offer the best protection against serious illness, especially in a child's earliest months and years. Dr. Molly O'Shea with the American Academy of Pediatrics explains.
Vaccines, including those for flu, whooping cough, pneumococcal disease, and COVID-19, are the most effective way to help infants and young children build strong defenses against infectious disease. Keeping your child up to date on recommended vaccines helps protect against serious illness and supports healthy growth and development. Vaccines also help protect family and community members who may be more vulnerable.
For more information about recommended vaccines for children, visit healthychildren.org. For help finding a vaccination location near you, visit cveep.org. That's cveep.org.
The JR Show, weekdays at 2 p.m.
Are you serious right now? You certainly don't go by First Lady. You choose First Partner. And you're going to talk to us about protecting women? You want to talk about protecting women? Let's start with our girls right here in the state of California and protecting them in sports. You want us to ask questions about women and protecting women? How about that question?
Weekdays at 2 p.m. News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. The Armstrong and Getty Show, weekdays noon to 2 on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Now, back to the Ralph
Chris and Randizzle and I have been discussing how the Raiders just got screwed because, as I predicted, and I'm not patting myself on the back, you didn't have to be a super genius to figure this out. The only reason trades get blown is because of injuries, and Max Crosby failed the damn physical. So the trade is off with Baltimore, and now, even if we get something for Max, it certainly won't be what Baltimore offered, a first and a second, because he's damaged goods. And we were just all talking about, turn your mic on, Chris. Is Randy still in there? We were all talking about maybe you think we could get their 12th? No?
The issue now is, okay, we know he's hurt. He's not passing this physical. Do you really want to get rid of him? And we'll give you our 20th now,
But, you can get a doctor to say just about anything. You don't think we could find a doctor who could say he's got at least 3 or 4 good years left? Yeah, there's a little damage. There's a little cartilage. I don't know what the hell it was, but you get some guy, some orthopedic to come in and say he's got a couple years left.
I don't think it's as bad as I think they might have saw a little something, but I think they might have just got cold feet and were like, dude, we don't want to give away these first-round picks.
They've never done it before in the history of the franchise.
And now they still haven't.
Yeah, that blew me away. Did you guys know that? They have never in the history of the franchise traded away a first-round pick. And you're right. Maybe they got skittish. Maybe the doctor was like, well, he's fine, but, you never know. And they were just like, do we really want to do this?
Well, and again, they just lost their starting center to the Raiders. Does getting Max Crosby really get you any closer to a Super Bowl? Probably not.
I think so. Wasn't that their issue last year? Was the defense?
But again, you can keep stacking up the defense all you want. If you can't protect Lamar Jackson or at least give him time to throw the football, who cares?
Yeah,
you're not going to be able to win
football. You just lost the anchor of your offensive line, that's for sure. And they've had problems on the edges as well.
I'm just thinking that just to add to the idea of maybe they got cold feet. Maybe they're thinking now we lost almost everybody in free agency. Does Max really even help us anymore?
So now we get nothing for him, and there's a great chance that we might not get anything from him.
Exactly.
Because if he's truly damaged, as this Baltimore physician says, he'll screw around and get hurt the 4th game of the season. And then Papa Jenko, look what we got. That's too bad. God. And I was just, because I was against the trade all the way. But I was just beginning to okay, I see the logic. And maybe if we can hit it, because, all these draft picks don't mean a damn thing if you don't hit.
Right.
You've got to select the right 14th player. And I ain't got a lot of whole confidence that this new Brady-led brain trust can select talent. That's the deal. There's a lot of talent in there. And a lot of times it gets absolutely ignored until the 2nd or 3rd round. You know what I'm saying? So just because you have a first-round pick doesn't mean that guy's going to be a starter or is going to be a game changer. You've got to hit. Everybody always talks about the greatest trade, I think, in NFL history was when Jimmy Jones sent Herschel Walker to Minnesota and he got those 7 picks. Well, that would have been a blip in history if he didn't get Nate Newton, if he didn't get Emmitt Smith, if he didn't get all the incredible players that they got where they absolutely hit. Everybody was saying that Emmitt Smith was going to be a bust. He was too small. He didn't really put up that big of numbers down in either Florida or Florida State, wherever he went, I think Florida. And lo and behold, he's to this day the greatest rushing back in history, according to numbers. Nobody's rushed for more yards than a guy that ended his career in an Arizona Cardinal uniform. By the way, I should give you guys this NFL quiz. You want to take it?
Might as well.
It's really cool, actually. And there's no way you go perfect. No way. No way in hell.
If we put both of our brains together, I bet we do.
No way in hell. No way in hell. No way in hell. Let me see if I can find this. But please stand by. You all can play along. Just stand by. Not there. Not there. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right.
Find out. Question 1. What color is the penalty flag in the NFL?
What color is the penalty flag?
Yellow.
Okay.
I asked you 10 questions. The first one about 90% of people know. The last which only 1% of people know. Make sure to share.
They get harder.
The second question is, what town did the Chiefs play in? Where are the Chiefs?
What town do the Chiefs play in?
One more second.
Right now?
Yes,
Kansas City, Missouri.
that is correct.
One NFL end zone.
How long is the end zone?
20 yards, says Randy.
Incorrect. You're already wrong. It's 10 yards. What's the matter with you? 20 yards. What franchise wears cheeseheads?
Packers.
Correct. True or false? The longest play in NFL history is 109 yards. True or false?
Randy says false. I say true.
True. It's 109.
That is 109. Jacoby's kick return.
Who threw 55 touchdowns in one season?
Patrick Mahomes.
Peyton Manning.
Patrick's got 50.
296 rushing yards in one game. Who?
AP.
Nice. That was hard. I missed that one. Most Hall of Famers all time.
Oh.
49ers.
I'm going to say
Cowboys?
Packers.
Chicago Bears.
Oh, okay.
Not recently.
No, kidding. None of them are quarterbacks either.
What is the name of that NFC Championship, or what is the name?
The NFC Championship game between the Cowboys and the Packers in 1967. What is it called?
Ice Bowl.
Nice.
Yeah.
Final.
To form one team in 1943 during World War II. Two franchises formed one team. Who were they? Give me one more.
Two franchises formed in 1943 because of the war. Name the two teams.
Ooh.
NFC
43?
1943. They came together. I told you it got harder.
That's a good one. Baltimore Colts.
And?
Oh, God. Who came at the same time? Cleveland Browns?
Incorrect. The Eagles. Sorry.
Philadelphia.
Eagles and who?
Oh, it's not the Colts?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just suckered you.
Oh, okay.
Washington?
Steelers.
Okay.
You want to take another one? I told you that was hard.
That last one I wasn't going to get. I was 43. You got me on that one. That's way too far
Here,
back.
I got another one.
Junior high.
All right, settle down in there. I think I got another one. Can I find it? Oh, I didn't save it. God dang it. I didn't save the other one. The other one's pretty good, but isn't that pretty good?
Those are good. I like those videos.
I did too. And I thought I saved another one. I found two of them.
It's probably deep in the well of saved video. I know I have the same thing. Like I got nothing but saved videos in one folder, and it's like 3,000 videos. I'll never go back.
Oh, speak of the devil. Did you guys see this?
What's that?
Mark Sanchez on October, who allegedly body slammed an older man over a parking spot. The driver then fought back with pepper spray and a knife, leaving both men with gruesome injuries, and is now officially accused of being fueled by a massive cocktail of cocaine, fentanyl, marijuana, and alcohol during the entire event. Why didn't we figure that out? Why else was he doing sprints behind the alley? He was high as a kite.
Yeah, no.
We thought he was as drunk as a skunk. No, that we should have known. That you don't want to run when you're drunk.
No.
You want to lay down and be like, what's going on? He was high. He was at 35,000 feet. That's why he attacked the guy. He was on coke and fentanyl, was feeling himself. I'll beat the crap out of you, old man. He's through. He's through. Maybe. And I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There was a 4% chance that maybe in 3 to 5 years, he could have resurrected his life and gotten back somehow into the National Football League. Thomas Henderson was a huge coke addict, and he turned his life around, became a personality in the 70s. Remember Thomas Henderson? Played for the Cowboys. You may remember the opening kickoff. You know how Thomas Henderson is described? He is the connection between Dick Butkus and Lawrence Taylor. He was the first fast, agile linebacker who wasn't like Butkus and Willie Lanier and Ray Nitsky, who couldn't run a damn and were just muscle bound. Pittsburgh, Dallas Super Bowl. Tom Landry starts the football game off with a reverse where the receiver, the running back, catches it, runs to his right, and hands it off to Thomas Henderson. That's how fast he was. And he got up to about midfield before I think Roy Jarella finally ran him out of thing. But he was a big-time cocaine addict, big time. And he brought his life back together. But Sanchez, coke, and fentanyl. The fact that the dude is lucky he didn't die, if not from his injuries, from fighting this man in a truck that he pulled out because he was high as a kite, and the guy was interrupting him from running wind sprints behind the bar he was drinking at. That's a true story. But the fact that he was on fentanyl, and again, this is less than 12 hours before the football game kickoff that he was covering the next day. No, he's done. He's done. And I think this could even cost him his marriage. His wife had really been standing by him. But now that it's come out, the dude is doing coke and fentanyl. She must be waking up like, who are you? Unless, and again, as I always say, nobody knows anything about a relationship with the two people involved. Maybe she did know. Maybe she was just trying to, get him off of it and he couldn't, or she was, being an enabler. I don't know, but to me, that's the line you have to draw. Because you could. I'm just shocked by this because I just didn't think it was that stupid. That's stupid. It's one thing to be stupid to get drunk 12 hours before your football game. It's another thing to go on the road and do coke and fentanyl hours before you're going on television. This guy is done, absolutely done. And now it starts, in my mind, because I'm that kind of guy, I'm wondering, was he doing coke during football? Is that how his career just fell off a ledge? This is a guy that went to what, 2 straight AFC championship games? And then all of a sudden, the next thing you look around and he's bumping into the ass of his center. You know what I'm saying? Guys don't really fall off the cliff like that. Probably doing coke back in the day. Let's go. Well, I'm not doing coke tonight, but I might be doing a very dry martini. I think I'm headed to Casey's Steakhouse tonight. I think I'm feeling a little protein.
Nice.
Because again, I was there Friday night for dinner and had fish. I felt guilty, if you want to know the truth. Romeo Agbalog has given up things for Lent, and I forgot all about it. So I wasn't going to flaunt my Catholicism and have meat on Friday during Lent. But I'm feeling a little protein tonight. I might have a little filet, some sliced tomatoes, some vegetables. That's sounding pretty good. And just one little martini. And then maybe a little Austin Hope with my dinner. Nah, a little expensive for the kid. Maybe a little Conundrum. A little Zinfandel, something a little milder. Austin Hope is like $1.20 a bottle, something like that, $1.30. Oh, I'm a radio talk show host who is wrapping up his Tuesday broadcast right here on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN, and we're streaming live at kernradio.com.
News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. Start your day right. First Look with Scott Cox, 6 to 9 a.m.
On the Wednesday edition of the First Look program, we'll talk medicine with our friend Dr. Vip Dev. John Cox will join us from the Californian, and we will force him to announce the In-N-Out Burger news at the City Lights Project. News, traffic, and weather. It's all happening 6 to 9 a.m. right here at News Talk 96.1.
Whenever you're ready.
God damn it. I do that every freaking day. I cut off the head of Reggie Smith. Poor Reggie. Where'd his head go? I decapitate Reggie Smith every day. Every day. Poor Reggie. And he was a badass, too. Remember the story of Reggie Smith kicking the guy's ass and trying to rob him in the parking lot of Dodger Stadium? You guys remember that? Guy came at Reggie Smith with a knife. He took it away from him and beat the shit out of the guy. Love that story. You ready? 3, 2. So once again, if it can go wrong for the Raiders, it will go wrong. Max Crosby fails his physical. The trade with Baltimore is over. We're not getting their 14th pick. We're not getting their 2nd pick. And we're getting damaged goods if he stays. And what are we now going to get that he's damaged goods throughout the NFL? It's just another bad setback for the silver and black. 3, 2, it's that man again. Look what's coming up on the Wednesday TRBS. Well, it's a Wednesday. Our former federal agent Howard Marcus will be here. We'll give you the latest on Operation Epic Fury. And what else happens between now and 3:05? It's the Ralph Bailey Show on News Talk 96.1 and AM 1180 KERN. I'll see you at 3.
Do that afterwards.
How much time I got?
About a minute.
Yeah. I don't think. Oh, let's give it a shot. Maybe I can do it in one take. You ready? 3, 2. It's that man again for Sangera Subaru and the Subaru. No, it's like.
You're good. I just gave you an extra minute. Go for it.
Oh, all right. 3, 2. It's that man again for Sangera Subaru and the Subaru A Lot to Love event going on now through March 31st at Sangera Subaru. And of course, spring is the best time to get an incredible offer on that new Subaru you've been waiting for, like a 2026 Forester CVT. Lease one now for only $179 a month for 36 months and just $5,000 due at signing. And remember, every Subaru always comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. And don't forget, this offer ends March 31st. So stop by and see my good friends Damon Culbertson, Hassan Levy, and all the guys during the Subaru A Lot to Love event. Pick out your new Subaru for spring and hit the open road. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community at 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall, 24/7 at. Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Do the last part.
But I can't go booyah, booyah, one take Bailey. God damn it.
Technically, that was the second take anyway.
Oh, true. Sangera Subaru, paving the way for a better community at 5500 Gasoline Alley Drive in the Bakersville Auto Mall, 24/7 at sangerasubaru.com. 3 take Bailey. I can't hear anything. Chris?
Can I ride my bike backwards?
Like I said, kids are curious. It's up to us to keep them safe. Brought to you by N Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
The Clay Travis and Buck Sexton Show, live 9 to noon. Now, back to the Ralph.
Both of, or like we both looked at each other while you were singing that song.
It's a great song. Screw both of you. Care? Grew up with that song. Mr. John Denver for you two youngsters. Were you aware of that?
I was aware of that, yes.
Okay. Very good. You know how he died?
I do not.
Crashed in the plane that he created himself.
Really?
Big dummy.
Yeah, well.
Why the hell would you engineer a plane? Dude, you sing for a living. And it was pretty good in Oh God. You ever see Oh God with George Burns? George Burns comes back as God, and he wants John Denver, who works in a grocery store, to tell the word his message. And of course, it's produced by directed by Carl Reiner, the late Rob Reiner's dad, and the creator of the Dick Van Dyke Show. and had a lot to do with the Andy Griffith Show and a lot of the stuff that was on Desi Lou in the 60s. But it's a great movie. Obviously, everybody thinks he's married to Terry Garr, as a matter of fact, in the motion picture, the late, great, beautiful Terry Garr. And he's got to convince everybody that that God is alive and that he wants to know that we should be decent human beings. He's got to get that message across. And of course, everybody thinks he's nutsy cuckoo. And he thinks he's nutsy cuckoo until God makes it rain in his Volkswagen. I swear that's a scene in the movie where he comes as George Burns, and he's this old man, obviously, as George Burns was. And he's trying to convince this kid that he's God. And finally, they're driving in his Volkswagen, and he says, "See, it's a sunny day, right?" He goes, "Yeah." He makes it rain in the car. And then there was a sequel that was bad. And then there was another sequel that was really good, where George Burns plays God and the devil. And the devil is trying to remember the guy that played one of the brothers on Soap? Well, he's now in the movie, and he's a normal guy, but he wants to be a rock and roll star. So the devil, as George Burns, comes to him and gets him to sign a contract. Well, God, the whole crux of the movie is God tries to get him out of this contract with the devil. And at the end of the movie, they play poker for it to see who gets the guy's contract, his soul, essentially. And of course, it's a feel-good movie. God wins, of course. There's only one devil movie that I can't watch, and it's Rosemary's Baby, because it's one of the few devil movies where the devil wins. If you've never seen Rosemary's Baby, I won't ruin it for you, but the devil wins at the end of the film. And that just freaked me out because I saw it when I was like a teenager. Because I had heard about the Frank Sinatra story. Have you ever heard the Frank Sinatra story? I've told it 100 times. He was married to Mia Farrow at the time, and she was the star of Rosemary's Baby. They were just recently married. They'd been married like a year or two. And Frank was about to make one of those Tony Roma movies that he did, those horrible detective films. And his wife, Mia Farrow, was supposed to play the love interest in the motion picture. And Roman Polanski, classically and typically, was running late. And so Sinatra calls Robert Evans, the executive producer of Rosemary's Baby, and says, "Where the F is my," I almost cursed, "where the F is my wife?" I said, "Well, we're about 2/3 the way through." "No, she's supposed to be in Florida shooting with me on Tony Roma." "Well, Frank, she's the movie. We can't just stop." And he says, "If you don't have my wife in Florida by 9 o'clock, there'll be ramifications." And he hangs up. She doesn't show. She calls Frank, "I can't leave. I can't leave. I'm the movie." And so Jilly, or whatever his name is, Frank's sidekick, shows up on the set with a manila envelope that he hands to Mia Farrow. And she opens it in front of the cast, and she says, I can't shoot for the rest of the day." And it was divorce papers. And that's how Frank divorced her. I'm telling you, Mr. Sinatra was a very complicated man. He was a guy that paid for the funerals of Joe Louis. He paid for Sammy Davis's funeral. He cleared up Sammy Davis's tax problems and took it off the back of Altavis Davis's widow. But if you wronged Frank, he was as cutthroat as they got, man. That's what separated him from Dean. Dean was happy-go-lucky, carefree, was not involved with the mob, told them in the early 50s, "I ain't got nothing to do with you guys." Sinatra loved being associated with the mob. Frank was the go-between. When Fredo takes the money to Cuba in Godfather 2, that was actually Sinatra, who was taking money to help fuel the rise in hotels in Cuba in the late 40s and early 50s. And of course, even if you've seen Godfather 2, you know how it ends historically. In 1959, this guy named Fidel Castro kicks out Batista, the sitting Democratic president, and all of the hoods. And then, of course, Kennedy gets elected in 60. He's in debt to the mob because they got him elected. So he creates the Bay of Pigs to try to get back. It's a failure. So Kennedy says, "I'm done. I tried." And they said, "That's not good enough, John." Boosh! November 22nd, 1963. On March 11th, Howard Marcus will join us. For Chris Burdick, I'm Ralph Bailey. That's what's really going on. We'll have to you tomorrow.
This is AM 1180 KERN. Green Acres. This is 96.1 FM. Bakersfield. Online at KERNradio.com.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. More than 100 U.S. troops have been injured so far in the Iran war. White House correspondent Craig Clugston reports.
We're learning more about the broader toll of injuries sustained by U.S. service members as the military carries out major combat operations against Iran. In addition to the American soldiers who have been killed, the Pentagon says about 140 U.S. troops have been injured in the war. A spokesman says the vast majority have been minor injuries. However, 8 are currently severely injured. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Toronto Deputy Police Chief Frank Barreto says they're investigating after 2 suspects reportedly emerged from a white Honda CR-V and fired shots at the U.S. Consulate building there.
At 5:29 a.m. this morning, Toronto police received reports of a discharge of firearms that took place at 361 University, the site of the U.S. Consulate just behind me. Officers arrived on scene and immediately found evidence of a firearm discharge, shell casings, as well as damage to the building. There were people inside the building. However, this building is highly secure, highly fortified, and there were no injuries.
That audio courtesy CTV. Authorities are on high alert because of the war in Iran. Royal Canadian Mounted Police Chief Superintendent Chris Leather called it a national security incident and said the National Police Force is working with Toronto Police to understand the motive. Republican Clay Fuller and Democrat Sean Harris are advancing to an April 7th runoff for Marjorie Taylor Greene's former U.S. House seat in Georgia. President Donald Trump in February endorsed Fuller, who has called Trump's endorsement rocket fuel for his candidacy. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 34 points, more at Town Hall.
See you guys.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000,